Today is August 14th. It is Tuesday, and today's a very special day of the Level 1 News.
A lot of people, they'll make comments on the Level 1 News, and they'll say, nobody's ever going to read this, but we read it. And one thing about me that everybody knows, I'm a man of the people. People always say, Brian, he's a man of the people, right?
That's, you know what? Every client we talk to says
that's what I'm known for. And so we read those comments, and we give you what you demand. And today, we will give you one of the most requested things that we've ever had in the Patreon and the comments. Part 2 of Drunk News. Now starring Krista.
With my tiny baby bottle of wine.
Look how pathetic it is.
It's a local wine.
It's actually a pretty good ratio of our body weights, actually.
I'm not going to get through this. I'm not a very heavy drinker. But
you got to follow. Now, do you know the drinking game
is there
rules?
a rule?
Okay.
Is there a rule with the news?
When we have governments misbehaving,
so pretty much every story in government.
Got to drink. If you have an unsecured database or a security leak or something like that,
so the whole security section.
You got to drink.
Yeah.
And if you have like dystopian something or robots that are eventually going to kill us all, that's a drink.
So the whole robots and AI section too.
You're catching on.
All right.
And you can play at home, with your favorite alcoholic beverage.
So maybe have some stuff to detox your liver on hand. I don't know what that would be.
Bottle of water and a banana, that's all you need. And we drink from the bottle like savages. A lot of people like to ask what we're drinking. So let me read you the description of this bottle, why I chose this one. Have you ever found yourself in a wine shop or restaurant perusing the wines and wondering, how do I choose the best wine for the money?
I often wonder that because I know nothing about
It's like
wine.
they're speaking to me on a fundamental level. So this is called educated guess.
Oh, and it's got some science stuff on the front
chemistry.
there.
I thought that would be good for the ISPs, right?
Yeah.
So this was $23.
That's high for you. Usually she goes for like a $12 wine.
Classy. So what do you got?
This is a Purple Toad Winery, which is in Paducah, Kentucky, and it is black and bruised red wine. I think it's like blackberry wine. It's very sweet. And that's all I care about. I want it to taste like grape juice. I'm not interested in like the alcohol experience.
Well, today we're doing government and social media news. So get yourself ready.
Get your drink. Pour your drink now.
Prepare yourself. We're going to start out with everybody's favorite government employee, Ajit Pai.
Mr. Reese's man. Pai's SEC says 25 is not fast enough.
Is fast enough.
Oh, it is fast enough. Listen, I had one whole drink of wine. And reading is hard.
So is that what you've got 25, right?
I don't know anymore. I set that internet connection
your
up
internet
ages ago. It's garbage.
It's trash.
Yeah.
It's the lowest tier that you can get from Spectrum, Time Warner.
Streaming from it is garbage.
So,
everything else is fine, but streaming's terrible.
Most of the world, I think 100 is the standard. A lot of the people, the Democrats on the FCC board are like, hey, we should have 100. The rest of the world has 100. We should have 100. Ajit Pai says, nope, 25 is all we need.
And, I trust him.
I trust him to work on the benefit of the...
A man with a giant Reese cup mug can't be wrong.
Now,
if he had an M&M mug, I would not trust him.
He has been demonstrably wrong several times. In fact, we'll cover one of those.
I think you're attacking him personally, and I'm upset by that.
I would like to. He's saying 25 megabits is fine. There's no reasons. This happens every year. So every year you have to look at what's going on in the world. And the reason he's doing this is to further deregulate. Because if it's determined that all the money we gave the ISPs is not being spent to expand and they're behind, then they will have those extra regulations demanding that they roll out more rural coverage. He doesn't want that because he's bought and paid for. And so he's saying 25 is good enough.
A-okay.
That's a government corruption drink.
Take a drink.
Oh. I don't know if I mentioned...
What kind of wine is yours? You didn't mention that.
This is a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh.
Fancy.
It's much fancier than what I've got.
I don't know. You know what?
Yours has a cork. Mine has a twist-off cap, which, for the alcoholic on the go.
Well, I'll go for the cork. And the cork also has...
Oh, it has the same branding on it. That's cool.
It's burnt in there.
So if you're opening multiple bottles, you know which one to put back in your bottle.
Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Oh, man, I lost track of my thought there.
So we just started.
Well, more about Ajit. I pre-gamed a little bit.
Yeah.
But Krista didn't.
No, I
She's
didn't at all.
lively.
My dog's here. I had to get my dog ready and like get her situated because I was like, I can't go home.
We can get good and drunk and then just go play with the dog for the rest of the afternoon.
Well, we're gonna stream right after, and I was like, well, I can't go home and feed her because I'm gonna have alcohol in my system, so she has to come here. So she's in her crate. She's here. She's fine. But I didn't get to
There's going
pregame.
to be 10 million comments like, show the dog.
Well, they can look twitch.tv/TeamPGP.
They're going to be watching this after that happens.
But they can watch the
Oh, that's
the
true.
VOD.
That's
So
true. Okay.
just if
So
you're
you
interested.
foreshadowed that Ajit Pai is never wrong. But in fact, he was wrong. And for once, he's admitting it because he has no choice.
He admits the FCC lied about DDoS, blames it on Obama. That's,
Thanks,
Obama. Yeah. So the FCC's been saying for a long time, all this stuff, we were DDoSed, and that's all it was, and we're just getting these denial of service attacks, and that's not true, as it turns out.
This is the old net neutrality debate, when they got flooded by the John Oliver people. The normies were like, wait a minute, what? John Oliver explained it in a way that even the normies can understand. They flooded in. They said it was a DDoS. It wasn't. It was legitimate outrage. Pai says it was the chief informational officer who has been fired or resigned or something that Obama appointed that lied to everybody, and it wasn't him. And even, let me see if I can read the statement. It's, I am pleased that this report debunks the conspiracy theory that my office or I had any knowledge of the information provided by the former CIO was inaccurate and was allowing that inaccurate information to be disseminated for political purposes.
How dare they?
Oh, what a piece of garbage.
Mean.
So yeah, he was the victim, and you can just stop questioning anything about it. And this is kind of the same story. Here's a picture of your favorite mug.
Yeah. He's always drinking it. And look how big it is, like compared to his hand.
Well,
is his hand really tiny or is the mug really big?
I think that's the one thing that he's ever done that the internet's liked. So he embraces it.
Yeah. Maybe he has hundreds of those giant mugs.
But this is the same story. I enclosed this Gizmodo article because they link to the actual report if you want to go read it. It's down here somewhere. And
it's a nice block quote style.
The American people were deceived by the FCC and Chairman Pai. So yeah, you can go and look at that, but it's pretty much what it says. He totally blames the chief informational officer. He takes no blame for himself, and that's a government corruption drink.
It's starting to get less sour, which is how I know I'm drinking it.
It's working.
Yeah.
That means it's working.
It's getting more and more like grape juice the more you drink.
Well, we talked about GDPR.
You've really been pre-gaming that, huh?
I'm not feeling it though. I'm like,
it's gonna hit you all at once. Like
probably
we're gonna
will.
get part 2, and you're just gonna.
I had some croissants for breakfast to
Oh.
go with my Cabernet Sauvignon,
No.
and so I'm carved out. That's probably why. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna be so sleepy later.
So GDPR did some good things, and one of the things it does is truth in advertising. So they say you can't say up to anymore, like up to 100 megabits. That doesn't fly. So after they've changed the rules, a lot of the advertising has suddenly changed.
Well, it has to be the lower amount. That's what you have to list on your advertisements. Drops up to 41% after UK requires accurate advertising. This is pretty common in the EU, though. Like totally, right? Like I don't know why UK was special here.
Because they're not going to be part of the EU anymore.
Well, I guess yeah, but EU has that whole thing too, where you have to like disclose if you're advertising and
I think this is
like
just
YouTube and
like
stuff.
the UK has done the study,
yeah.
but it's probably true all over. So yeah, only one ISP didn't change. So there was one honest ISP in the UK. All the rest of them, and it mostly affected the lower tier stuff. So the big plans, they were being kind of honest, but the low tier, not even close.
No.
Government corruption.
Wait, that's not really government corruption, is it? That's because that's the UK's requiring accurate advertising.
Oh, this is
So-
ISP corruption.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink anyway. I'll make yours optional.
Okay, I'm gonna pace myself because I have a low tolerance for alcohol. I've actually never been drunk.
It took a lot of cajoling and peer pressure to get Krista to agree to this.
This is the peer pressure my mom warned me about when I was in high school.
So
It's only taken another 10 years to get here.
as I said, I'm a man of the people, and I give you what you want, which is drunk Krista. Although you're probably just going to get a little bit lit Krista. But
I just get giggly usually when I drink.
well, that's fine. People enjoy that. Last week we talked about the quiet skies. And the quiet skies basically boiled down to the TSA just randomly following people around. Well, it turns out that no one had ever heard of it. And now that Congress has taken a look at it, they're defending it. But in defending it, they're saying they've never caught anybody.
That doesn't work. It doesn't accurately find anyone perfectly imperfect.
5,000 cases. They have not found a single terrorist or any criminal of any kind with the quiet skies. But as government usually does, their response to that, we're going to keep doing it.
Well, they got to throw away a little bit more money before they realize, 10 years down the line that it's not actually a good initiative.
And interestingly enough, the Air Marshal Union is against it. They're like, hey, the Air Marshals have other stuff to do. This is stupid. Why are we doing this?
They have to sit on other planes and sit in first class and drink all day. So
yeah.
They're busy.
Quiet skies will continue. You will be followed and tracked.
I do like the name Quiet Skies. Like it kind of sounds like a video game.
If the government is good at anything, it's coming up with program names.
Oh, we have a story later on about coming up with program logos.
And acronyms.
Stay tuned.
They are incredible at acronyms. Remember the Creeper Act for the online?
Oh, the acronyms too, though. Like they use so many that you can't even keep track of what all of them mean. This is a corruption.
This is a follow-up government corruption. You can take a sip. Oh, it is getting tastier.
Yeah, it is. And don't know about that.
Well, here's a headline that you're almost never going to hear. This might be a 1 in a million kind of thing. West Virginia on the forefront of technology.
West Virginia. Okay. They're introducing mobile phone voting, though it's only going to be for military.
For now.
For now. They're going to do a test run.
It is a trial, and not just for military, for people who are overseas. Who would be doing absentee voting. So the idea, it's called Vote, V-O-A-T.
Which made me think of vote.co, and I was like, maybe that's not the best name, but...
Mm-hmm. So you have to take a picture of your military ID, and then take a selfie to register your account and get everything set up. Then you got to take another selfie. I think it's a video, actually.
Yeah, it's a video.
While you vote. And so they're going to use facial recognition, and they say that there's no problem with that.
I think, well, what were they using it on? There's like some TV show or something like that. This had been trialed before they introduced it to West Virginia voting.
Oh,
but I can't remember
what it was. You're talking about like a reality show where there was voting?
I think so. So it's been used before. My thing is, though, wasn't there a whole issue with like Apple phones? Like if it was like your kid trying to unlock it, couldn't you do the same thing with like voting in theory?
If they were similar
looking to you, like if it was your sister,
close enough or relative.
Yeah.
I think that has improved a little bit. I don't know if they're using new technology for this thing. I think the more concerning thing though is the votes being tampered with in transit or after they've been cast.
Yeah.
Because there is no proof. They're also using some kind of blockchain. So maybe
I saw that. Yeah, I was like, oh, look at you with your buzzwords.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think online. But now, if this was perfected, and I think that's a big if, a giant if. But I think what do we get? Like something like 60% or 40% voter turnout in America usually.
I think so.
I haven't voted from presidential election since Bush 2. I'll admit.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Because it was like,
wow.
I went out of my way to vote in Bush 2, and it was like, we got to get this asshole out of here. And then I was like, they cheated. Why am I wasting my time with this?
I did Obama, but I didn't vote for the last one.
The last one was such a toss-up. Like
it was like, well, and both of them were terrible, so it was like,
And you're going to feel bad either way, so I feel better. It's like that thing.
I feel better by not participating,
It's like the thing where it's
awful.
like you reroute the train track to go over 20 people or one person. It's like, I'm just walking away.
I just let all of them die, or let it be chance that way.
Yeah, it's just let the universe decide, right?
Or the train conductor.
Well, I think that was a conductorless train. That was a runaway train.
Okay.
So yeah, that's not corruption. So we're not going to force.
We're not going to force a drink.
But it's probably a terrible security risk. So maybe in the future, except we won't be drinking on every episode.
No, our livers can't handle that.
But speaking of voting, here's another voting-related story.
I saw this elsewhere before it was even put on the news, but 243% turnout and other woes in Georgia voting. 243%, in case you're wondering, is about 143% more than what you should have.
It's exactly, not about. It is exactly.
Well, assuming you even have 100% turnout when people vote, which is not likely.
So the idea here is that there's a certain number of people who live in this county, and not everybody votes.
Yeah.
Like we just said, I haven't voted in presidential elections since whenever. But somehow 243% of the population voted. And they're saying, it's fine. It's okay. It's a small county, so it hardly matters. They had some other issues. This is the state where they had backups of the votes. And not only were they deleted, the drives were degaussed, so the data could never be recovered.
It's not corruption, though. It's definitely just a complete accident.
So when we talk about the insecure nature of online voting, you have to ask yourself, is it worse than this? Because we got these debold machines. Is it debold or diebold? I never can get that straight.
Don't know.
They've been hacked. DEF CON every year hacks voting machines. And they're like, look how easy this is. There's all this, they prove that certain politicians have ties to it. Their relatives and financial interests and stuff are involved. And I don't know, maybe online voting is an improvement simply because the current voting system is so corrupt.
See, I think that you just move the corruption over to the online platform, and it might be even easier that way.
That's a risk, yeah. But there is that whole just doing the same thing over and over insanity
Loop, yeah.
So maybe try something different. I don't know. I'm glad that I'm not the one that has to make that decision, and I'm also glad that I don't work for the Baltimore Police Department.
Baltimore officials will pay a consultant $176,000 to help police department maintain Lotus Notes system.
Lotus Notes. You ever use Lotus Notes?
No.
Lotus Notes is an ancient email calendar database type program.
Honestly, I've never even heard of it before we read this article.
Before Microsoft had a good contender with Outlook and all that stuff, and if you needed really corporate, high profile email and calendar and database, Lotus Notes was the shit. That's what you did.
I don't remember any job I've had an Outlook account.
Because you're too young.
Yeah.
That's how old Lotus Notes is. It is ancient. It is not one of the big things with BlackBerry, when people were on BlackBerry, they could integrate that with Lotus Notes. And then an iPhone came along, and a lot of people were like, nah, dude, I ain't doing iPhone because Lotus Notes is where it's at. And ultimately, everybody except the Baltimore Police Department switched over to something else. But they talk about how, the murder and the rape investigations are in a different database than the crime lab. So the crime lab that's doing, the bullet forensics and the rape kits are in a different database than the actual case files. And they don't always match up correctly.
1-to-1.
Yeah.
And they're only paying this guy $176,000. That seems like a lot of money, but when you think about all the maintenance and trying to match stuff, that money's going to go quick.
But see, here's the thing. Why are we're paying to prolong something that is
that's
so
already
out of
going to
date?
die.
We have to get rid of it.
Well, that's standard, government stuff, COBOL and all those horrible, outdated languages.
But Baltimore is alone in running software that's ancient. Most people have
upgraded at this
gotten
point
to the new world.
Oh, we got a paywall.
CNN wants you to sign up for the newsletter.
Look how happy that guy looked.
He is. Well, he's happy. But you know who's not happy?
The Venezuelan president.
Maduro. That's a great picture of his wife here. She's like, what the fuck?
Oh, it's a video. But she looks like she's knowing what's about to go down. But he got attacked by a drone.
Oh, there's an ad. Yeah, so what happened was there was a drone actually filming this presidential speech. There were two drones, and they were it was a military parade, and they were filming a presidential speech, and all of a sudden they just blew up, exploded. Here we go. Here we're watching. It's like, oh, what's going on? So
he kind of just keeps talking. Everyone else looks a little freaked out, but he's like, yeah, screw it.
And so this is the military here. You see them scrambling. They claim that they've caught whoever's doing this, or at least they have some suspects in custody. which could have just been anybody. you
Yeah.
know. And oh yeah, they put up the human shields here to protect him. Yeah. So Venezuela, if you're not hip to Venezuela, they're having a bad time.
Venezuela.
They're having a real bad time. Socialism kind of breaking down, and the people are starving, essentially.
Yeah.
So
they're trying to like not let people know that they're starving, so like they're shutting off the internet and don't tell anybody. Like,
yeah. Man, I'm feeling it all of a sudden. He is blaming it on America as usual. It's like, you know, and he might be right. You know, I mean, as failed as that state is, the CIA is probably down there.
We've done it before with South American countries, unfortunately.
So I'm going to take an assassination drink.
Exploding drone drink.
Now here's one that Kristen might be especially interested in, because she's a filthy designer.
Online photos can't simply be republished. EU court rules. This is pretty standard, like Design 101. You can't just reuse an image from anywhere on the internet, but now it may be law.
Yeah, this is the story here was that some photographer took a picture and he allowed that picture to be used on a tourism website. And then some kid did a school project and lifted that picture, put it in their school project. And the school really liked it. So they put it on their school webpage.
Oh.
And this photographer came after him for €400, which is like, hiring the lawyer has to cost more than that, right?
So when I took design ethics, something that they say, like, you know, you can reuse an image if it's for educational purposes, but if you make any sort of money off it, if it gets put on like a commercial thing like a school, then yeah, that's grounds to be sued.
Yeah, and the tourism site.
So I don't know how it works in the EU, but that's how it works in the US.
Well, they've ruled.
Yeah.
They're saying that just because, so let's say you go on the internet and there's an image being used, you cannot assume that you can use that image without permission. I think the tourism site gave him credit too.
Yeah.
So they would have known a way to get a hold of this guy and talk to him.
And you know how school, it's like the cite your sources, so.
It's kind of sad.
Again, educational use usually fine.
That kid got one hell of an education in design.
Yeah.
And copyright.
I took a whole course on just design ethics and like how to, you know, get contracts and how to avoid getting sued.
My programming ethics class was run by a militant feminist.
So you were wrong.
And we're talking about, like 2000, 2001. She was way ahead of her time. And I didn't do well.
Did you learn anything?
She didn't like my papers.
Oh.
Well, we've talked about deepfakes. Deepfakes is when you take one person's face, swap it onto another person, usually, not always, but usually for the purpose of pornography. Well, the good news is the Department of Defense, they've been working hard, and they have what they claim is a tool for catching deepfakes.
Haven't people claimed this previously?
Here's Nicolas Cage.
Wow.
It does look pretty good, doesn't it?
It does look pretty, you know. It's weird because it's like a Photoshop of a video. Something that would have taken ages to do is now. Wow.
Now this points out, and you can kind of see it. I don't know how well it'll come through because we're watching a GIF through OBS here. But it's trained with the eyes open almost always.
Yeah.
Because it looks at a series of pictures and you almost always have, like if you go to Google Images, it's almost always pictures of people with their eyes open. But people need to blink, right? So when they blink, it doesn't have an eyes closed shot to use.
So they're just...
So the blinks are weird.
Yeah.
And that is one of the ways that they detect. Now, they do have a second way, or so they claim, but they're keeping that a secret. They're not telling us about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
They can tell by the pixels.
And the pixels,
and seeing many Photoshops in their time.
The pixels are involved.
Yeah. So
yeah. That will probably... What they use with deepfakes is adversarial networks, AI, where one AI builds the fake, the other AI tries to look at it and be like, I can tell that's fake. And then they try again. So all they have to do is mix the blink thing into the adversarial AI. And it'll get better at it. Thanks, Department of Defense, for giving us better deepfake porn. And when
that was the whole plan the entire time.
And when we talk about facial recognition, How about the Olympics that are coming up in Tokyo in 2020?
Unveils facial recognition system. It's a kiosk. So the reason that they're doing this a little bit differently is that when they do the Olympics here, instead of having just one big arena, which is how they typically do it, because Tokyo is probably sort of small, all the arenas are sort of scattered all over the city. So you're going to have to travel between different arenas and check in each time. These kiosks are supposed to sort of expedite the process.
Yeah, and this is only going to be used for sort of staff.
Yeah.
That are going from
And
place
Olympians.
to place. Yeah, and the athletes themselves. So you'll have
Call them Olympians because they've worked hard for that.
you'll have a name tag. You'll have a name tag that's got your picture on it, and then you'll scan that. But then you'll do the face recognition as a secondary, as a two-factor. So if you were to swipe somebody else's card, you still couldn't get in because the face scan won't match. Pretty good idea.
Apparently they were like, it works for tall people too, and they did like a demonstration
Yeah,
where the
they had
athletes had to like bend over double.
A 6'8" basketball player.
Monster.
And hopefully they've worked out the darker skinned problems.
Oh.
Because there are going to be
Yeah.
a lot of athletes with darker skin.
That's a thing Japan has struggled with in the past, I think.
They have. Do you think the
That's actually a good argument for inclusion in technology because you're working with lots of different people.
Do
and
you
your tech
think-
should work with all of it.
Do you think the 6'8" guy was Japanese? Because that would be a huge Japanese guy.
Maybe. It's possible. I don't know, boo-boo.
Well, we talk about a lot of times some of the smaller countries in the world, the less developed, I guess we'd say.
The third
When-
world.
You're not supposed to say third world.
Is that
anymore.
not it
No.
anymore? What's
well,
the
I mean, it is, but you're not supposed to say that.
what's the politically correct term now? I used to know it.
I don't know. Emerging markets. It's emerging.
The emerging world.
Yeah. So Ethiopia would be considered an emerging market. And they have a bit of a problem with turning off the internet.
Blocking the internet to quell internal unrest. This is just the same story that we hear every other week about some country somewhere in the world.
Yeah, so they've got some riots, a little bit of
Just had some
a
riots.
couple of riots broke out.
Got some riot juice.
And they decided, you know what, let's just turn off the internet because they're using Facebook and all the social media to put these riots together. Let's just put a stop to that.
Organized.
right
Is that even a thing? Do you organize a riot?
now. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Send an invite to your friends. Hey,
Well-
we're going to have hot dogs.
We got that great story about Discord coming up later.
I don't know if I read that one.
So Cameroon is number one with total days between 15 and 17 of internet outage due to this. And Ethiopia coming in number two with 36. Cameroon is way ahead.
They're winning.
By far the leader. My favorite thing about this story is right here. They've worried that keeping the internet turned off is costing them $32,000 a day. When Amazon was down for Prime Day, for how many hours was that? They lost hundreds of millions of dollars. If the internet was out in America, we'd be losing millions of dollars per
People would be
second.
rioting in the streets because the internet
Well,
was
these
out.
people are already rioting in the
Yeah.
streets. So what's the danger?
Well, did you see
of
on that chart too? One of the things was Congo. So Congo's having an Ebola outbreak again, and it's
Yeah.
like is shutting off the. I don't know if they're doing it right now, but like shutting off the internet in the middle of a Ebola crisis is that?
Well, I guess people, bludgeoning each other in the streets is also bad for Ebola.
Yeah, they actually, they've made this is completely unrelated. They made an Ebola vaccine and they've been handing it out, and it actually is like 70% effective.
It's government corruption.
Okay. And also, congrats to the people who made the Ebola vaccine that's 70% effective.
I hear that the Ebola vaccine gives you autism. You shouldn't take it. Don't give it to your kids.
I think I worry more about bleeding out of every orifice than I do about autism.
How about Germany? When you think of Germany, you think of
Myoma.
sports cars, advanced machinery, you think of sauerkraut, and of course, you think of National Socialism. And they're real touchy about that last one.
They are real touchy. There's actually quite a few laws in Germany saying you can't display or really talk about Nazis because they're kind of ashamed of their past, understandably. But Germany has lifted a total ban on Nazi symbols in video games very recently.
So here's a screenshot from Wolfenstein. You see here in the German version, it's whatever this is.
I think that might be the logo for the game.
And this is the good old swastika. So they're saying that from now on, it's going to be a case-by-case basis. I don't know who decides.
I assume the chancellor.
You think he
Whatever,
sits down?
whatever
and
the German.
does he play through Wolfenstein? He's like, okay, I'll do this.
What if he doesn't like the game? Then he just is like, no.
The other interesting thing that they do, there was a picture of it, but here it is.
Yeah, there's a picture of Hitler. This is what they used to do. They don't do it anymore.
He's not allowed to have his stash.
So it just looks like an angry old man.
He does look way different, doesn't he?
He does. The mustache kind of made the man.
It was very youthful, that stash. Because look how much older he looks there.
I think when they've shown like composite, there were some people like conspiracy theorists who thought that Hitler made it out to like South America. And I've seen photos of like what they think he would have looked like, and I think they had him without the mustache, and he does look a lot older.
I've read, and I don't know if there's any truth to this, that he shaved the stash like that because he was in World War I and he couldn't fit the regular stash and get a proper seal on his gas mask, but he still wanted it.
Oh, I thought it was because he was a fan of Chaplin.
Oh?
That was like the style at the time. I don't know. Someone in the comments can tell us more about the history of facial hair.
We will have so many conspiracy theories about Hitler's stash. And you know who else is really related to conspiracy theories? And I could have had a way better segue there if I weren't feeling it.
A little drunk.
AJ, Alex Jones.
AJ, is you friends with him
well,
personally?
When you know him on the level that I do.
Which is just not at all.
When you play golf with him, I'm going to name drop like Wendell does all the time. He has been kicked off of pretty much everything. He's been kicked off of YouTube, Facebook.
I think his podcasts are
LinkedIn,
not up anymore. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn,
oh,
yeah.
No.
iTunes, MailChimp is what this one is about. And there's some other like really weird ones. It's like, why was he on those? But yeah, he's being wiped off the internet, which is incredible. And
does he have his own website?
Yeah. He's got InfoWars is his website.
Oh, okay. I've never actually been, so I don't really know a whole lot about him outside of making the frogs gay.
Yeah, but it's kind of like we have our problems with YouTube as well. Everybody does. Everybody has problems with YouTube, but YouTube gives you that discoverability, right? Without YouTube,
to people outside of
we would be in this little horrible nest of Linux signaling ISPs. And honestly, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it anymore if that's the only chance we had to interact with people, because those people are horrible. But Alex Jones, he can still do his own thing, but he's really being stifled here. And I really worry about this because
I don't like Alex Jones, but it does set a worrying precedent.
Well,
if they decide they don't like you, they just remove you everywhere.
On one side, we've got people who are like, yes, give us censorship, please. Please censor the things that we don't like. But now on the other side, you've got the right are now screaming regulation. We want regulation on social media.
It's a wild time to be alive.
And the right is supposed to be anti-regulation. That's supposed to be Ajit Pai, like, no regulation at all. And now they're screaming for it. But I don't think they realize that regulation and that censorship will, in both cases, will be turned against
their side.
Yeah. But either way, everybody loses. So there we go. If you want to learn about the gay frogs, you're going to have to go straight to the source. Although the InfoWars app is doing really well.
He has an app? Is it just a link to the website? Like,
no, it's like it plays the video and stuff.
Oh.
He broadcasts something like 5 hours a day.
He should go to Float Plane.
And
I'm sure Linus would totally let him on.
But it's not just him. He's got like a whole network of people.
So he's actually pulling like a float plane where he's trying to like...
Well, no, but it's all kind of like that, but it's all in his own, like he invites people to his studios.
Oh, so more of an interview format.
So, no. Like they do their own show, but like he's got the Paul Watson guy who's very popular.
Okay.
Have you heard of him?
Don't watch InfoWars.
Well, but he's all over Twitter.
Well, I see people complain about him on Twitter, but I don't ever...
They do some great, if you've ever watched him, and also Campus Reform does some great videos.
Oh, I've seen Campus Reform videos.
Where they'll do Man on the Street, and they'll go and be like, how do you feel about, this policy that Trump did? And he'll line it, and they're like, I hate him. He should be killed. And they'll be like, that was actually an Obama policy. And then they just get all uncomfortable.
It's like, ooh.
I'm gonna do a social media censorship drink.
Look how much I've drank. That's half a glass.
I'm at roughly the halfway mark. You are way behind.
I am. Well, you've been pre-gaming. I got here, had to get the dog settled. Hope she's okay. Hopefully she's not dug out of her crate
What
somehow.
if she is just pissing everywhere? in that office.
We double checked and went like 3 times before we came in. So, well, she's in her crate
What?
too. So.
How do you do that? Does she piss on command?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What if she's dry and you just keep commanding?
I mean, I don't know. She'll eventually just know that she doesn't have to go anymore. But like, she knows go potty means squat. It's time.
Wow.
Well, because I live in an apartment, so like,
I
can't just throw her out in the yard. I have to take her out every time. So it's like you need to go because it's cold and raining.
I hate to say this because it's one of my favorite memes is that Rue is retarded. But she might have just been a slow starter.
She's definitely slow. She's a puppy. Puppies take a while to train. She's getting there.
Well,
she definitely has some dumb moments.
She is getting very advanced. But do you worry, because of how smart she's getting, that she will get into 3D printing guns?
You know, I thought about that. I'm more concerned that she'll take my job. She'll become a web designer. She'll start doing all the sitemaps and
Does she have design jobs?
Documentation, yeah.
Well, Facebook will not tolerate her if she does get involved in 3D gun printing. They don't tolerate that at all. They've announced if you post anything about 3D printing of guns on the Facebook site, you will be removed.
I think that well, I don't know. 3D printing is still sort of a vague thing, but like I think removing any sort of gun content on Facebook would have some noticeable pushback, at least around here.
YouTube.
As someone who's a big part of the local marketplaces, but county by county, guns and gun parts and stuff and gun shows are often very commonly talked about on Facebook marketplaces and trading posts, as they're called here.
Well, but YouTube, like, there's been several kinds of gun-related content that I would like to do for YouTube, and we're just too afraid to do it. I mean,
we could get demonetized and our channel would get a strike.
What they've done has worked. It has the chilling effect, because I bought the Mantis X, and I'd like to do a review of the Mantis X. It doesn't really detect
It's
all the
not
shots.
actually a mantis, like a praying mantis.
It is not a praying mantis.
As you would...
It's a piece of technology. But not going to do it. Too afraid. Too afraid. They've won. They've done it.
Tell us what content you'd like to see that could get us demonetized. Actually, don't do that. Don't tell us. We can guess.
Facebook, when they're not banning controversial content to do with, you know what I'm going to drink to that? I am
wasted.
Not wasted, but it's.
You're feeling it.
It was a trickle before, and now it's a waterfall. So we got 2 more episodes. We've only got 3 more stories, so I'm gonna take a small drink for this one.
I'm enjoying the wine more. Like I'm not noticing the bitterness as much, so I know that's how I'm feeling it.
The thing about it I like is, you know what? I was pre-gaming. I forgot to do the screws this week. You guys have lost interest in the screws.
They don't even know what it means. I don't think anyone's figured it out. At least not from the comments I've read.
But the great thing about where I am right now is like, just imagine where this is going to go by Friday.
It's gonna be, you're just gonna be screaming. You're gonna be wearing one of the lights on your head. It's like burning through your flesh because they're so bright and hot.
Well, Facebook has announced connectivity. Now that's not lowercase connectivity. That's uppercase connectivity.
It's a standard startup sort of name where it's like just a noun that doesn't really mean anything.
And internet.org. Wow.
Do you remember internet.org? I remember when they announced that initiative a couple of years ago because it was reviewed on a lot of design sites, like the identity for it.
Well, I remember when they were going to take it to India. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And India said, go fuck yourself.
Thanks. Thanks, but no thanks.
We don't want your bullshit around here in India. We're doing fine on our own. And
I wish I knew an Indian word to like screw off, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know any Indian words. So Facebook is renewing its commitment, at least verbally, to bringing the internet to the unwashed masses in the emerging markets where they don't have any internet.
But they basically just changed the name.
Basically.
And redesigned the site and then mentioned that they used to be internet.org.
They had like the balloon thing, kind of like what Google tried.
Yeah.
But they didn't go anywhere. They weren't good at it. And then they had the India thing, what they were going to do, and then India just didn't want it. So they had a bunch of failed attempts. What they're doing is they're just putting all those failed attempts in one basket.
Yeah.
So.
And I was kind of like, why would they invest all this money? And then it's like, oh, more customers.
Yeah. Well,
everyone needs to be on Facebook.
That's why India kicked them out. Because what it was going to be was Facebook provides your internet, but harvest all that data and sell it. So they were going to make money that way. And
India, that's like opposite of government corruption. You just want to like vomit back into the bottle.
Wouldn't that be something that the viewers would like to see? Maybe that'd be Patreon only content.
Just vomit stream.
And finally, I think this is our... No, actually, this is not our last
There's
Facebook
like 3
story.
more stories, I think.
One
2.
is Facebook, one's YouTube. Well, Facebook dating. Are you excited to date people on Facebook?
I know people on my friends list will be.
Good news. It's coming, and it's got 5 gender choices.
It's, okay, so it's male, female, trans male, and undecided?
Undecided, yeah.
No, it wasn't undecided. It was
it's
something.
like-
It was not undecided. That
But it
sounds
was
silly.
this. It's the same idea. Non-binary.
Non-binary. Undecided sounds kind of worse.
Ah, I laugh because it's stupid. And I'm not afraid to say it. But yeah, so the way this is going to work is you can opt in to Facebook dating, and then you will only see other people who have also opted in to Facebook dating when you're on the Facebook.
This is going to be, so like the same people who are on the trading post all day, like selling random crap from their house, these are the same people who are going to be using Facebook dating. And I cannot wait to see the drama show up in the trading posts among all the people I know who are
That's
now
true.
doing meth. Like,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good
because when Facebook dating goes wrong, as it inevitably will, that's going to leak over into regular Facebook.
oh yeah,
has to.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It already does. Like people, I know some people from my hometown who have joint like married profiles or not married, even just dating profiles because they
Yeah,
don't trust the
right.
other one not to message other
Right, yeah.
people.
Well, there was some crazy statistic from like divorce cases that when Facebook first started to catch on, everybody was banging their high school sweetheart. Because all of a sudden, you're in a marriage that you're not really crazy about, and then it's like, oh, I remember you, and it brings back all these feelings, and it was just like every time.
I can pretend to be young again instead of dealing with the commitment that I've made.
So I don't use Facebook, so I'm not going to get to enjoy Facebook dating.
Oh, my high school reunion's coming up.
Oh,
I
yeah?
realized, I got a
didn't-
message about that the
I
other day.
didn't go to mine. What is it, 10 year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go to the 10 year.
I'm not going. I'm not
Really?
interested. No.
You should take the dog.
Hi, guys. I have a dog. Also, this is my boyfriend, but mostly I just came to show you my dog.
I'm kind of a winner.
You guys may have heard of me from Level1text.com.
Yeah, you should go and tell everybody at Level 1 Text.
They're like, oh, ooh. And no one talks to me the rest of the night. Ooh.
Aren't you the girl who was in love with Gandalf?
I didn't talk to anybody in high school. They had like a very small group of friends who I talked to and no one else.
Yeah, I fell out of touch with all my high school friends.
I talk to the ones I care about, but not many outside that.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll go home and run into somebody.
Ooh, yeah,
And
that's
it's,
always awkward.
Well, I don't feel like it's awkward because, man, there are some losers, you know? It's kind of life-affirming.
Well, mine aren't all losers, but I just feel awkward. You're like, oh, what are you doing? And like, you have to kind of like put on that like, hey, and I'm not very good at that. And it's not that I don't like the person I'm talking to. It's just I don't know how to socialize like that and like make small talk.
Oh, man, I'm feeling it. So, Facebook, this is the last Facebook story and the most disturbing of all the Facebook stories.
Facebook plus 2% on report is seeking, but there's a side thing. It's like blocking the title.
You fucked up those words. No, you can't blame that on the pop-up.
No, I think
Try again.
Facebook plus 2% on report is seeking big bank customer data.
So yeah, Facebook wants to find out what's going on with your banking transactions and integrate that into your Facebook profile. Not publicly, but your Facebook shadow profile that they sell to market.
So you can get credit card offers through Facebook. Jeez, I checked my mail today and it was just full of garbage like
or
that.
not. Or you could, you're not going to get a loan because Facebook knows about your bank transaction.
God, that's weird.
They've assured everybody that they are not going to share this with third parties. And
They would never do such a
right,
thing.
like Cambridge Analytica.
They would never do
And they didn't want it to try and sell you stuff. But of course, that's why they wanted it. So that's damage control. Hopefully, because somebody found out about this will not happen. Because Jesus Christ. Facebook on your bank. I mean, if you're still a Facebook user, think about Facebook. Did you just drink without prompting?
Yeah.
Look at you.
Better take a hit myself. It's starting to taste real sweet now. Like I'm not tasting the bitterness at all.
We've hit the.
It's a 4 on the sweetness scale, according to the little label on the back of the bottle.
It's also a plastic bottle.
Yeah, it's for the alcoholic on the go.
That's the
I didn't get a
garbage
full
one.
bottle of this because I was like, I can't drink all of it. But
They were having wine tastings at Kroger
yeah,
when I went to get this yesterday,
yeah, that was pretty common.
and but I was like, I don't care about wines. I'm just randomly selecting a bottle, and of course, I took an educated guess. Here's a free.
Get something from Paducah if you guys want Kentucky alcohol. This is actually, I do like this one.
You can't ship it in the mail because Kentucky law.
Well, drive to Kentucky, get some L8,
It's totally worth it.
get some Blue Mondays, and get some Purple Toad Winery wine from Paducah.
And our last story for the Monday episode. It's kind of about Facebook, but not really. It's about YouTube, who's about to pass Facebook for the number 2 spot in the world.
It's kind of sad. According to new studies.
I was expecting more from
I
you.
kind of lost my train of thought there.
So it's Google. Google is like way ahead of the pack.
Yeah.
They're the biggest website that's ever going to exist ever.
Well, so I'm curious, and maybe this was mentioned in the article. I didn't read this article, just full disclosure, but like, are they counting just Google.com, or are they counting all of its apps, like Gmail and the Office suite?
I think it's per site. So the Google search engine gets so many
the Omniverse.
billion hits. It's crazy. But it's Google.
And YouTube's about to pass that, even with all the other apps included.
Just the Google homepage. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, just the Google.
Think about how many times a day you hit that.
That's less impressive.
So it's Google, and then it's Facebook, and then it's YouTube, and then it's Yahoo, surprisingly.
Oh.
And then it's Amazon.
Well, it's all the old people. That'll die off eventually.
My parents use Yahoo search, and I'm like, why don't you use Google search? And they're like, what? What are you
I got my
talking
mom
about?
off Yahoo
Oh, yeah?
ages ago.
That's achievement unlocked. And then it's Amazon. Amazon is 5. So YouTube is going to take number 2, and Amazon is going to take number 4.
I'm surprised Amazon's not higher up on that list.
That's true. Yeah, especially with the Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah. Well, like even my family, who were very skeptical of online ordering for a long time, now like all of them are on the Amazon bandwagon now.
Oh, yeah. Well, my parents won't do Prime.
I don't have Prime, so.
And so they'll like send me emails like, order this so we can get free shipping.
You don't get free shipping on everything with Prime, though, right? Just Prime items.
It's a lot. It's getting
Yeah.
more and more every day because even the third-party sellers are getting killed if they don't agree to that. So they're getting on board.
The one thing that almost tipped me over to getting a Prime subscription the other day was they have they call it like the Amazon, I can't remember what it's called, some sort of closet thing where like you can get basic clothes items like leggings and t-shirts and socks and scarves and things like that. They're Amazon whatever, and you can get them with free shipping, and you can return it if it doesn't fit with Amazon Prime, but you can't order it without it.
But did you know if you return too much, you will get blacklisted?
Oh, so maybe I'm not interested.
I mean, you have to really abuse it.
Yeah, so I don't really return clothes that often unless they really don't fit, but...
Well, that's the end of episode 1 of Drunken News.
I've had maybe one glass.
Look at that. So you know that you better turn in... That's not a glass. What are you talking about?
It was like, it's
No,
much.
it's ridiculous.
It's like half a glass.
I don't know if the camera...
You're like half a bottle.
I'm more than half. Maybe half, exactly.
We have to get you another bottle.
If I finish the bottle, I will vomit. Because I don't have a lot of tolerance. I'm not one of these people with that machismo bullshit. It's like, yeah, man, I'll drink under the table. No, I am lit.
Oh, I only drink the finest craft beers.
Educated guess. Yeah, I don't ever drink. That's what makes it so much fun. It's a thing that you get every once in a while.
Yeah, every couple months.
So
We had to do Wendell one time. Wendell doesn't drink. He drinks less than I do. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've drank this year, and Wendell drinks less than I do.
Well, Wendell's terrified, and maybe rightly so, because like you guys have noticed, I've been doing the driving since a couple of weeks ago, and when Wendell doesn't have something to focus on, he'll attack the screws.
Yeah, or like he usually there's a ticky tack here on the desk, and he'll like play with the ticky tack.
So when he gets, and I've seen this in conference calls and stuff, when his mind starts to get like idle cycles,
yeah,
he just starts to like freak out and latch on to anything. And I think he's afraid that drugs, and let's face it, alcohol is a drug, get in there, who knows what's going to happen. But I think it'd be entertaining.
It would be entertaining, I think.
So, yeah.
You guys can let us know in the comments. If you
Vote with your comments and, of course, your Patreon dollars. Last time I went out to Drunk News, we had record Patreon.
Which I was surprised by. I was like, man, people are probably going to be like alienated by the things that come out of his mouth when he's drunk.
We'll see. We'll see what happens here. I mean, if you go crazy on Patreon, I mean, I'm not e-begging here. I guess I kind of am, but I'm saying if that happens, maybe we convince Wendell to get drunk.
He's a sucker for peer pressure more so than
Oh,
us.
absolutely.
So
yeah, right.
maybe.
I've noticed he's been replying to the trolly comments on YouTube.
Oh, you can't do that.
We got to stop it.
There's nothing wrong with reading them because I mean you should read feedback, but like you can't respond to those.
So tomorrow is going to be business and
I don't remember. You organized the articles this week?
Maybe hardware. Can't remember. It'll either be hardware or robot.
We didn't do our design story.
Design's going to be Friday, I think.
Okay, it'll be a good episode.
And we, here's a secret for you. We record these all on the same day.
That's why we never change outfits. We're not the filthy disgusting.
So tomorrow we will be at this level and moving forward. So you're going to want to watch that. And once again, e-begging, the patrons watch it all at once. So if you're dying to see that.
And there's podcasts and
that's true,
all
there
kinds
are
of bonus
podcasts.
content. So
all right, we'll see you then.
bye. Today is Wednesday, the 15th.
August 15th,
August 15th,
2018.
2018.
And it's Wine Week.
Here at Level 1 Techs.
Part 2. Let's have a drink for Wine Week.
He's already feeling it.
Today we're going to be talking about business news and robots and design.
There's only one design story, but we are talking about design, so.
Officially, we're talking about design. Even if it's just one story, it still counts. Now let's start off. Actually, Krista just did a check. The dog's asleep.
The dog is asleep. I was worried that maybe she had somehow found a way out of the crate and was tearing my office apart as we speak, but nope, she was asleep.
Now, Friday night. Well, let's do a quick Rue update.
Yeah, Rue's doing well. I brought her into the office for the first time
She's learning.
last week. I just brought her in for about 20, 30 minutes and let her smell everywhere and kind of get acclimated to the office.
But you've talked about she's learning to sit and not attack people when you're on walks and things like that. Right?
Well, she can do sit and lay down for a long time, but we're still working on her what is it called? Her inhibition. So like when someone walks by when we're walking, like I get her to sit and then do a stay. She'll do that about 70% of the time. Other times she's like, ooh, person, wants to follow them.
So we established Friday night during the Twitch stream that Rue had amassed quite a few good girl points.
She has, yeah.
And you said that she would be rewarded with chicken tendies. Did that happen?
Well, she didn't get any tendies.
Oh my gosh.
She got French fries. She didn't get any tendies.
No tendies?
No tendies. I ate the tendies. I was hungry. I hadn't eaten dinner before we
You could have
started.
got a 5-piece and give her the extra one.
I gave her I got a 3-piece.
Oh.
I got a 3-piece.
How is she supposed to respect the institution of good girl points when you don't come with the tendies when she gets enough?
She gets pets and treats and
That's not the same.
bits of food. She has to do a trick for it, though. She got to work for it. She shouldn't get stuff for free.
I'm going to call social services.
That sounds like communist BS.
Well, let's talk about Qualcomm. Qualcomm's been in the news, and Qualcomm's legal department might be the hardest working legal department in the history.
It seems like they're working a lot.
Always
a lot of
being
overtime.
suing. They have no shortage of work. Well, in Taiwan, it turns out that the Qualcomm legal department, which a bunch of wizards apparently, have worked out a deal where they're not going to pay most of a $773 million fine, and they get to keep charging rent for their patents.
Now, I'd like to have a correction here because it's not actually a wizard. That's misrepresenting what the lawyers actually do. They do not perform any sort of magic whatsoever.
Legal magic?
No. We are legally not allowed to say that the lawyers perform magic.
So yeah, and Qualcomm, God knows what they agreed to invest a bunch of money in Taiwan, I think.
Probably, yeah. We'll build more factories here.
Yeah,
'Cause that's what you need.
And so Taiwan said, hey, you know that fine you were going to pay us? Forget it. Just invest that money and keep paying rent or charging rent on those patents that you've got. And we're cool, bro.
Wendell will probably be visiting a new Qualcomm factory come next May.
If Wendell were here, we would get a 5-minute Taiwan anecdote. Never get tired of those.
Oh, this is the mobile site.
And
How
now,
thoughtful he looks.
my favorite kind of story, a Tesla story.
Take a drink. Tesla's Elon Musk faces investor.
Oh, we should drink. We got to drink for government corruption because that's some bullshit with Taiwan. Yeah. Oh, and back to Musk.
Elon Musk faces investor lawsuit. My reading really struggles the more wine I drink.
We might have got this little. I think I just included one story here. So
We have 2 Elon Musk stories.
if you haven't been following, Musk. Let's see what this. I might have put these in the wrong order.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
All right, let's
back up.
Let's pretend the last 30 seconds never happened. And let's first talk about Elon Musk tweeting that he wants to take Tesla private.
And he wants to take it private to screw the people who short sailed it. That's the TLDR.
Well, I think he's tired of the oversight that public trading brings. To
He's tired of people questioning his authority.
Yeah, he doesn't care for that. So he said he wanted to go private. I think at the time Tesla was trading at 370.
It rose like 11% after he announced it.
He said he wanted to go private at 420.
Blaze it.
Of course, because Elon Musk loves to hit the bomb.
Does he?
No.
Oh, I didn't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. There's no proof of that.
Just like there was no proof that guy was a pedophile, but it didn't stop him from tweeting about it.
So yeah, when he said 420, the stock jumped up because, of course, hey, why not buy a stock at this price if you think you're going to get bought out by the company at a much higher price? All right, makes sense. The problem is, he said he had secured funding. Now, when it comes to the stock market and stuff like that, there are a lot of rules, a ton of rules, so many. One of those rules says if you're going to get on Twitter and talk some bullshit about having funding, you better have funding. You better be able to prove it. And so far, he has not brought the proof, which brings us to this next article, which you've never seen before.
You've never seen.
Which is the investors are planning a lawsuit.
Oh, I got the giggles. I'm sorry.
You've hit it. Look at, no, show how much wine you've just, it's not even past the label.
I just suddenly got the giggles. Sorry.
So yeah, look at this face.
Yeah, this is a pensive man. Tell me more.
Oh, an asshole. So yeah, he's getting sued, but he gets sued a lot. I don't know if anything will come of that. But he is also getting investigated by the SEC, and he's going to need to come up with who those investors are, where that money is coming from.
Spoiler alert, it's probably no one.
If you buy every Tesla share at $420, it's $71 billion.
Phew.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of wine.
A lot of Model 3s, Model S's. A lot of wine. Oh, we had 3 stories.
We did.
So yeah, this is about the board, and the board has met and answered questions, and they're like, yeah, we don't
know what he's talking about,
Nobody
which
knows.
is not good news for Elon Musk. Because if they don't know, then he has to disclose it, and he refuses to disclose it, so it's like we're in this weird stalemate.
Yeah.
And then flashback to pensive Elon Musk.
There's also talk of Saudi Arabia buying like 2 or 4% of Tesla.
Don't they just buy horses?
Well, they have a lot of oil, which is interesting because his product doesn't use oil.
Well, around here, any Saudi people who've moved to Kentucky are typically people who are really into the horse industry, the thoroughbred industry.
Yeah, they love horses.
They do.
They do. Big horse fans.
Now, maybe they're just trying to complete the trifecta of transport.
The trifecta.
The horses,
Yeah, but the trifecta
oil,
is a
and
horse gambling
electric.
term,
Oh,
so
yeah.
That worked out really well.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah. So
Brilliant.
We've got a lot of pro-Tesla people in the comments.
We do.
People love Tesla.
I mean, whatever, if you like the cars. I just don't really understand the weird people who want to constantly defend Elon Musk as a person. Because he seems sort of unlikable to me.
Well, I think they like that there's a famous autist.
I don't know that Elon Musk is, though.
Oh, did you ever see him back in the PayPal days before he got his confidence?
No.
Yeah, he was a loser. So, billions of dollars, though, that'll help your confidence.
Yeah.
So, I think that gives them that hope. It's like, someday I'll be like Musk.
I don't know. He just seems like an unlikable person to me, regardless of how much money he has.
I don't know.
Maybe that's not true. Maybe he's really lovely.
What if you had the opportunity to hang out with him?
I would take it just because it's like, well, I mean, might as well. Well, no, think how good that content would be for this channel.
Well, not only that, but I mean, you're eating at the nicest restaurants and staying at nice hotels, and I mean, hanging out with Musk has got to be cool.
Why would I stay at a hotel with Musk? What are you implying?
Well, he's saying that. Well, I'm not saying he's.
What are you saying?
No, you're just his friend. And he's like, hey, let's go to Greece for the weekend. You know,
as one does. I guess if you're rich, you probably do.
Yeah.
If you're rich, tell us what you do on the weekends in the comments.
And invite us.
Yeah, we would probably not go because we would assume that you were lying. But
well, we talked about ISPs in the last episode, which you should go watch if you haven't. And now we have some more interesting ISP news that's not necessarily related to the government.
Before we talk about the story, we should really zoom in on this stock photo. We have a Control Plus, just like really get in there.
Mr. James Carey.
Ugh.
You don't like him?
Ugh, there's that picture. It's so spooky.
That was when he decided to do serious roles.
Oh.
Have you seen that?
No.
Never seen Cable Guy? Wow. Chris has never seen any movies.
I've seen some. Not many.
No.
I literally, through high school, just stayed in the basement.
What was the one? We
and drew
watched movies
pictures.
in the basement? What's the one we talked about on the podcast? The Fly. She's never seen The Fly. She didn't even know anything about The Fly.
I offered up 3 very solid B-movie recommendations. The podcast hasn't come out yet, though. Our editor hasn't had a chance to
that's right.
to do that, but it should be out this week.
Let's try and focus on the topic at hand, which is big cable. They're trying to get rid of the rule that allows competitive small market ISPs to resell their access at a government mandated price. They don't like the idea that they can use your infrastructure and offer a better product by building out fiber and other copper infrastructure to rural areas and offer it at a government mandated price. They want to strike down that government mandated price so that they're more competitive, even though they refuse to expand the network.
That sounds shitty.
That is, you're drinking without prompt here. I think we're getting you into some interesting territory.
Wouldn't say I'm drunk. I'm like, this is the point usually where I would stop drinking. Because I started to feel it and I'm like,
it's
okay.
time to power through that.
Because it's like, okay, I need to come back down. I'm giggling too much now.
This is level 2.
Level 3 is Friday.
So yeah, not a shock, but the big ISPs are lobbying against it. Rather than spending all that money we give them through subsidies and taxes to actually build the network, they hire lobbyists and try to destroy the little guy. That's what that story's about. So
It's easier than just doing the work.
it's nothing new. And on the topic of screwing the little guy, which is what the big companies love to do, Wells Fargo, they had a little problem.
Hundreds of customers have lost their homes
Cost a couple of people their homes.
because they foreclosed on them because of a computer glitch.
So these are people who should have had a refinancing. They qualified for refinancing. But for whatever reason, the computer system was like, nah, you know what? Let's just foreclose.
It'd be easier just to...
Just boot them out of their homes.
Does that worry you? As someone who's looking... Ryan's been looking for a home. I think we've talked about that some on the show.
Maybe, but see, I might not finance. I got some relatives with some cash, so I might do a loan through them. That way I don't have to deal with
What if they have a computer glitch and they foreclose on your home? Actually, that couldn't happen because you probably do their tech support, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not too worried about being able to make payments.
No.
So, yeah.
Well, these people weren't either.
They might. You don't know these people.
I don't know them. The computer did.
I think
It
we
said,
should do a Wells Fargo drink for that.
I don't like Wells Fargo.
Booting people out of their homes drink. Well, we talked about MoviePass last week. And MoviePass has a problem. MoviePass charges $9.99 per month for their service. And let's do some advanced mathematics, right? $9.99 a month.
I'm not in the position to do that.
Well, but just bear with me. $9.99 per month. Let's round it. Let's say $10. Right?
All right.
Let's make it easy. Average movie ticket is what? $15?
Well, if you go matinee, it's like 7 or 8.
Well, let's average it. Let's say the average is 10 then, right? Because it's 15 or 7. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's call it 10. So they're charging you $10 a month, and every time you go to the movies, it's $10. So if you go twice,
Pensivemusk.jpg.
that's 100% too much money to make money with MoviePass. So they're hoping that you will stop going to the movies.
What is the dark pattern that you would do as a UX designer to make people not want to use your app less? Do you start hiding buttons? Making them only appear on certain days of the month?
Well, so they've tried a number of things. They've tried peak pricing, that they called it, which is you're going to pay like a couple extra bucks to go to a movie. But I think it was like $3 or $4, which still doesn't make up the difference. So they're still losing money. And then they've tried blacking out new releases, right? You want to go and watch, what's the hot new movie this week?
Isn't the Venom? I don't think the Venom movie's out yet, but I think that's everyone keeps talking about the trailer to
People will definitely want to watch you won't be able to watch the Venom movie with MoviePass.
No way.
Because actually you might. So
it's too hot.
But anyway, they've tried several different ways, and the big thing that they're trying to do, they want to sell your data, right?
That's what they're really angling for.
So if you're making a movie, they want you to come to MoviePass and be like, hey, give us data about who's going to watch this movie. That's what they want their business model to be. But it doesn't seem to be working all that well.
I haven't used the app. Does it have like a section where it's like, can you tell us what upcoming releases you're interested in? That would be a cool feature.
No, I don't think it's about what might, but the way that they're doing it is actually tracks your location. So
yeah, I remember that part.
Right after you purchase your digital tickets, it watches everything that you do. So if you go
out to eat after,
let's say that you go to Walmart, right, and you buy some cheap Skittles,
juice.
You get the big Skittle bag,
oh,
and you smuggle it in.
I would never do something so
They're
reckless.
gonna know. They're gonna know that you do that. Well, the answer we actually don't have to speculate because MoviePass is actually giving us the answer later in the week. They are limiting 3 per month.
That does not seem like that good of a deal.
Well, it's
still better.
It's
but
still a good deal. If you're going to watch 3 movies a month, it's still a good deal because you're paying $10 and you're seeing 3 $10 movies.
The issue is that there's not really. Usually, there's not 3 good movies per month coming out.
Is there one?
I know a lot of our subscribers like superhero movies. Personally, not a big fan of a lot of superhero movies, and there's not really much else coming out very often. At least not around here.
I don't know anything about the movies. I don't watch the movies. I just watched the Thanos movie last week.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that on the stream the other day.
I liked it.
Was it alright?
It was okay. I mean, I wouldn't pay $15 to see it.
You said it wasn't as. He actually read the comic book, so he knew like what was going on.
But that was back when I was a kid. You know?
Yeah. I just realized we're like those news anchors from the show where the 2 old ladies get really drunk every morning.
I don't know that show.
It's not Good Morning America. It's something like that, though.
Let's do a terrible business model drink.
Okay.
So,
I gotta drink faster because it's starting to taste sour again.
Oh. Well, you need to just go harder.
Go hard on that purple toad.
But yeah, MoviePass is either going to limit you to 3, so it's going to be $10 a month, but you could still beat the system if you watch 3 movies. They're hoping you watch 1.
Because that's where they're profitable.
If you watch 1 movie and they sell your data, they might be able to make money. I think they're going to go out of business.
I think they will too. It seems like they're already struggling. There's a new story about them every week, so.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, just not really sound financially.
So who would think that was a good idea for a business?
What a segue. BBC wants Microsoft to expose Doctor Who leaker. We did a story about this a while back. Some pre-composited footage was leaked from the new Doctor Who season. Didn't have any of the special effects, but it was leaked anyway. And they're trying to figure out who done it. Who let the dogs out? Who let the leaks out? Who? Who
left Rue in the office so she could pee?
She's not peeing. She's asleep in her crate.
Don't know that. Yeah, so they are going after Microsoft and subpoenaing DMCA subpoena to Microsoft because the file that was leaked was found on OneDrive. Pro criminal tip: don't use OneDrive.
How else am I supposed to conveniently transfer files?
So they want to subpoena Microsoft to give up the identity of that OneDrive customer to find out who leaked Doctor Who and punish them.
Do you think Microsoft is like huge Doctor Who fans and they're like, fuck it, we'll do it? Hell yeah.
I don't think the board of Microsoft, they probably aren't.
You don't think so?
No. They're too rich.
I could see Bill Gates being in the Doctor Who.
But he's not involved.
He's not, no. He's probably not involved in the day-to-day.
It's the executive board of Microsoft, they don't even know what Doctor Who is. They're too busy doing like
lines of cocaine,
just like eyes wide shut orgies and eating at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. That's the two things that they do. The two things that they do. They go from one to the other. They get hungry, they go to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant,
and they discuss business.
and they hang out there until they get horny enough to go back to the orgies.
Ugh.
And then every once in a while they go to the Microsoft office and they're like,
they yell at their secretary.
Software as a service, and they smack somebody, and then they go back to the orgy.
And the developers are in a corner crying somewhere.
Well, how about Alexa?
How about her?
I like doing Alexa stories. Alexa, because it triggers people's Alexa. And you can do things like, Alexa, I think we've already done that one. We've already done adult diapers. What's an embarrassing thing we can have Alexa order?
Corks. That's what they show in this picture for this article.
Alexa, buy wine corks.
And here they go.
What? Confirm. And there you go. Congratulations on your wine corks.
Just like the owner of this fine set of wine corks in this story. What a weird thing to put next to your Alexa.
We have a wine cork. Look at that one.
We do. Mine was a screw-off top.
You can't see it's got like molecules branded onto it.
I think we talked about that last time.
Educated guess. I've forgotten everything we've done so far. So yeah, Alexa, turns out, according to this study, nobody's really buying stuff with Alexa. It kind of makes sense.
I mean, a lot of times you want to check the reviews, you want to see
Which
photos.
are fake.
And yeah. Well, I mean, the photos, though, like, can't really see that with Alexa.
That's true.
So it's like, if I'm here, I might as well just order it while I'm at my computer instead of through Alexa.
Can you be like, Alexa, audibly describe the photos of this product to me?
Some ratchet hoe.
What? Ratchet hoe.
So I buy clothes online, and it seems to draw weird people in the review section. Like, people will be like, hey, here's me in my bikini. Here's 30 shots of me in my bikini that I ordered. Or like, my leggings that I ordered. And it's like, what? You could have just shown me 2 pictures here. Like, I didn't need to see your entire selfie catalog. It's a personal problem, but I thought I'd bring it up.
That's a good... when you do selfies on Imager, people will downvote those.
But it's on Amazon review. What a weird place to put your...
But that's what I'm saying. Like, selfies on Imager, you're not going to get traction. Selfies on Facebook, it's going to be a limited audience, right? Selfies on Amazon, everybody's going to see that sweet ass.
No, some people will like black out their face, and it's like, okay, that makes sense because you're just trying to review the clothing.
That's fine. I mean, but still.
But some people, like, they just post tons of photos of themselves.
Imagine how affirming it is when somebody replies to your Amazon review with some ass shot. It's like, yo, you got a sweet ass.
They don't say anything about the product at all. Like, the leggings look really good. Or, how did they fit? Was the waistband, did it get loose after a couple washes? That's all I want to know. I didn't need to see 30 pictures of you.
I don't buy leggings on Amazon, but maybe now I'll go.
Do you buy them through that ad that we get on the news every week?
I don't, no.
Don't buy any?
I don't buy a lot of leggings. Probably should.
You should unsubscribe because he doesn't buy leggings.
I don't think anybody's looking for that.
I think people are probably thinking we're far off the rails.
Oh.
We're way far off the rails this time.
Last time when I did Drunk News.
How far off? I didn't watch all of it. I just skimmed through it.
I mean, look where I am.
You're pretty far down in that
pretty
bottle.
far.
Your liver is screaming for help
I'm
right now.
further than I got last time. And it's good. Well, see, Krista was like 30 minutes late, so I had nothing to do.
So you just started pre-gaming.
Wendell had destroyed the studio. Wendell's like a destructive force, and he moves the
He's a
lights
whirlwind.
and he destroys everything. So I put that all back together, and I still had 30 minutes to myself, and I was like, "Mom, just drink," you know.
Take a couple of these Advil or whatever mucus.
You gave away the secret. All right, well now we'll tell you. So I had the idea. The Tide Pods joke had run its course.
No one was doing the Tide Pod challenge anymore.
We agreed. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we had red pills in the martini glass? Because we're giving you that red pill knowledge, right? And we're making fun of that, right? But I bought one package of Alka-Seltzer, severe mucus and cold, and it didn't quite fill up the glass. But in case you're
gonna dump those all over the damn carpet.
No, look at that. The other thing I learned, I don't know if this glass was always compromised. I think the Tide Pods they pulled down here in this, like right above the stem, this will not hold liquid anymore. It leaks.
Oh. So if you're thinking, it's a little late, but I want to do the Tide Pod challenge, recommendation, don't.
Don't drink it out of a glass. You'll ruin the glass.
You'll ruin the glass. Maybe your esophagus too.
Oh.
Sorry.
We are trademark off the rails. So let's talk about Verizon. Now we talked about the smaller ISPs in the last episode.
Yes.
That was the last episode, I believe. Was it not?
Yes.
Well, this story is about Verizon lying about their coverage map, which would prevent government money from going to those smaller ISPs.
I'm not surprised by that at all. As someone from a rural community, not surprised.
Oh, let me tell you, the house hunt is. I want a house with some woods. I want woods in a mountain. We're in Kentucky, damn it.
Let's preface the thing. You can find that kind of property easily around here, but not with internet connection.
No, there's no internet connectivity.
Which is the same issue we're describing in this article.
Oh man, there's that one house and it's like 23 acres of mountain, a decent house, beautiful, no internet access. And that breaks my heart, and I blame Verizon because they're lying about their coverage map.
That's the breaks. The breaks.
That's a Verizon
corruption story.
Corruption drink.
I'm not really feeling it anymore.
Well, double down.
I think maybe my liver's stronger than I think. Maybe it metabolizes it quickly.
I think you can outdrink that liver.
Just get a new one.
Well, we've moved on to the section of the news, which is not really news at all and surprising to no one.
People still don't like their cable companies. Latest telecom survey finds. That's it.
Basically,
no one likes them.
Everyone hates their internet service. Everyone hates their cable company, with two exceptions. Armstrong operates in Kentucky somewhere.
Does it?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
It must be Western Kentucky. And Google Fiber. Those are the two companies that people actually have good things to say about.
Not Appalachian Wireless?
Not Appalachian
Was that not
Wireless.
included in this survey?
Well, they're wireless. This is, wired, copper, and fiber. But everybody else hated across the board. Shocking no one. So, yeah, if you hate your...
I feel like we didn't even need to include that story. Like, water's wet. Let's keep moving.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But if you hate your ISP, you hate your cable provider, guess what? Everybody does. You're not special. Get over it. No, don't get over it.
Yeah, you should still be angry about it.
Scream at the, I don't know.
The moon.
God,
You're getting worse.
Well, I want to
Okay.
catch up.
Okay.
Come
Tribune
on,
terminates
give us a
$2.9
catch-
billion merger with rival
I
Sinclair.
haven't put it on the screen yet. Give us a catch-up drink. Now, to the story.
Tribune terminates $3.9 billion merger with rival Sinclair.
So we talked about Ajit Pai, as we often do.
He has concerns about this merger.
He actually so he's supposed to be Sinclair's water boy. Right? I mean, he's always has been. He changed the UHF rule.
Cheerleader.
He changed a bunch of regulations. He looked like he was doing everything he could to get this merger done. And then at the last minute, he was like, no, I don't know. I've got concerns about this. So it was shut down. It was sent to review. And Tribune was like, forget it. We're not even going to bother with the review. It's already dead. We're pulling out. And on top of that, they're suing Sinclair. And they're saying that Sinclair was just too aggressive. They tried to cheat in so many ways that they ruined the deal, and they're suing them because of that. They're not wrong.
Didn't you say, too, that one of them was like a cousin?
Well, what Sinclair tried to do, you're not allowed to own a certain percentage of the news, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like...
It's a monopoly.
If Sinclair owns this much of the news, then we have to worry about the news.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, we're going to sell these stations to put us below the cap. But those stations was like the CEO's cousin or somebody financially linked to Sinclair. It was obvious what they were doing. They were just cheating. And so, yeah. Good job, Sinclair. You were too aggressive. Your hubris has destroyed you once again. And even Ajit Pai.
Even Ajit Pai.
They're still doing fine. They're doing good. Well, we can't do an episode of Level 1 News. Let's do a... well, that's not really corruption. I mean, they kind of got busted for their corruption. But
yeah.
you need to catch up anyway. So it's just...
Well, you don't need to catch up to anybody. His liver is just...
you know what? It's fine. I do it for the people. I told you I'm a man of the people. Mm. We can't do an episode of Level 1 News without talking about the number one buzzword. And Krista loves topics to do with this.
Oh, the blockchain and cryptocurrency. Blockchain is really... People just say like blockchain and they don't even know what it means.
Yeah, nobody understands it. But if you're in Australia, you can invest in a bond issuance that is going to be recorded on the blockchain.
So, a regular bond.
Well, it's a regular bond, but
blockchain.
So the way bonds work, here's a little financial aside for all of you Level 1. The government auctions off debt through bonds, and you buy a bond. But there is a secondary market for bonds where you can buy and sell. And if the rate changes, then you might make money or lose money on that secondary sale. So when you buy and sell it on the secondary market, it becomes the ownership of somebody else. They're going to be using the blockchain to track these bond transactions after the fact.
And that just sounds thrilling.
Well, listen, if you got a lot of money and you want a safe investment, you're into bonds.
I thought you were into cryptocurrency. Totally safe investment.
No, that's not a safe investment.
Very safe. Buy.
Krista is not an investor. In fact, Krista refuses to get a credit card.
I don't want one. I don't trust myself.
Really?
I mean, I'd probably be fine.
You think you're gonna go? I don't think you would be like a credit card spender.
I don't like to have any debt, though.
What if Rue has one of those like intestinal blockages? She needs a surgery.
I've got money saved up for that.
But you don't have enough in your checking account.
There's no way I don't have enough.
That can get really expensive.
I already looked into it. I've saved money. Like before I got a dog, I saved money for emergency vet costs.
Well, since the beginning of time, if you look back at the Roman and Greek philosophers, right? They've asked questions about where did we come from? What was the beginning of all of this? And what is the meaning of life? What is our place?
Where are you going?
What is our place in the universe? Well, I'm telling you, these are questions that we've had.
You've hit that point in the wine.
Since the beginning of recorded history. And one of those questions, where's Waldo?
And this robot used its computer vision to find Waldo in 4.5 seconds. The title here is maybe a little hyperbole.
Hyperbolic?
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand why you say that.
Your computer vision. Why not just say like
computer vision? That's perfectly valid.
This sounds weird.
So this is the robot. It's got this hand, and you can see the hand here. And of course, this one's easy because here's Waldo. I can find him.
Yeah, I see him there.
But in a more...
I can tell by the pixels.
In a more... they don't have a picture, but in a more complicated version of this, when Waldo's here in the picture, they've trained it with a shockingly small amount. They did 60 face pictures and 40 pictures of full-body Waldo.
He's almost always like turning toward the camera and
Striped
walking.
shirt, yeah.
He's doing like the Bigfoot thing, like.
And so this robot can find Waldo in 4.5 seconds in every instance of Waldo. They've ruined the game.
It's when you go to the doctor's office and there was always that one person who took a red pen and circled Waldo. That always made me angry. And I was like, dude, I'm sick. I'm not feeling good. I want something to do while I wait to go to the doctor. And you've circled Waldo. This is my 6-year-old monologue.
Well, this just shows how good AI is getting at facial recognition and image recognition and stuff like that. We can find Waldo. Well, let's drink to that on AI eventually killing us all.
Well, it'd be cool to do a background. We had trouble finding good backgrounds this week, so.
Somehow Wendell has configured this left monitor as a different orientation than the other one.
And
I don't know.
we could have fixed it, but it was one of those things that's like.
Do we bother? No, we don't bother.
We wanted to have a cool picture of a cat back there.
Yeah. Wendell has gone full throttle Linux signaling with the pictures.
Oh, well, no, it's all Linux anyway, which makes it more difficult to change.
Sometimes we have trouble controlling his Linux signaling. Well, talking about AI, how about Dota 2, which neither of us ever played?
Yeah, I don't play Dota 2. My boyfriend played Dota 2 for a long time.
Really? Mm-hmm. When was this?
A few years ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was into it. He only played, I think he only played bot matches because he was afraid to play against people who would scream at him.
How pathetic.
Yeah. Well, he got salty just playing bot matches, so.
Sad. Well, he could play bot matches and lose every time if he was playing against the Dota 2 professional AI, which is now beaten pro.
They're former pros, so like don't get all excited thinking like, oh man, he's destroying pros.
Well,
it's like people who've been out of the game for a while.
But they're all big Twitch streamers.
Yeah.
Because you think they're probably pretty good at this game.
Yes.
You gotta think. Now there were 2 caveats.
And I say fairly substantial caveats.
We'll roll them out for us.
So I don't know, but I know one of them was that they couldn't play any character on the roster. There was a very limited. I think it was like 20
15.
heroes. Oh, 15. So you're not even playing your best hero necessarily.
Normally there are 100 characters. I had no idea that Dota had 100
I didn't know they had that many characters.
That's a lot.
It'd be like playing Overwatch match and then only being able to play like 5 characters. It really kind of stacks the deck if you're not good at any of those.
It's literally 15%. It would be less than 5. How many Overwatch characters?
I think there's like 25 now, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be less than 5. So they can only pick those 15%, and
I don't remember the other one.
Oh, the courier was immortal.
Oh, that's right.
So I guess you can snipe the courier as a tactic, and the AI couldn't deal with that.
Yeah, so they turned it off. But it did beat them once. It was best of 3, right?
Right.
I think the pros still won it though, technically.
No, the AI won 2
Twice.
out of
3. Oh, I thought they won once.
Yeah. So the AI is going to kill us all. Did we already drink for that?
We did.
Okay, good. And they're learning first on Dota 2, and then later with real munitions, and then they'll kill us all.
I think that with the skills they've learned, like farming creeps, I don't think that translates to real life.
Well, that's like farming civilians.
Then they go military.
Right. Every human you kill reduces the support that the military will get.
Oh, of course.
Right? Like World War II, we converted all the factories into munitions. If you don't have that, how are you going to fight the robot war?
That's a good point.
Yeah? Leave your comments if you think I'm wrong, but I'm not. I'm right.
That could be the wine talking, but... And speaking of wine talking...
Birds.
Engineers teach drone to herd birds away from airports.
So, remember Sully? Captain Sully?
I don't remember Sully, actually.
You don't know about Sully?
No. I don't remember that story. Maybe we did.
Captain Sully... Well, we didn't do it on the news, but Captain Sully took off and ran into a herd of geese, flock flock? Is it a flock of geese? Yeah,
A gaggle.
Flock.
It's a gaggle of geese.
Could be a gaggle. But if they're flying, I think they're flying. A group of geese shredded one of his engines, but Sully, such a badass, landed his plane in the Hudson River.
Oh, okay. I have heard this story.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I know what you're talking about now.
Nobody hurt. Not a single scratch. The man,
A pro.
the most incredible pilot ever, landed it right in the Hudson. Everybody got off. Everything was cool. So
Except for the plane.
the plane was fucked. But so what they're saying is, how do we prevent this? And the answer is drones that are using AI to herd birds. So you can see here like this blue line. Well,
There it is.
when the animation starts again, we'll watch it. Come on. Here we go. Oh, it takes a long time.
It's more awkward than we anticipated.
Here we go.
There it is.
Yeah, so the drone has learned to move birds as a group. Now, they knew how to herd sheep. So they used
Well,
drones.
sheep are stupid, as we learned from Babe.
Well, birds are no geniuses.
Well.
Yeah, they're morons too. But they watched how dogs herd sheep, but that is two-dimensional, right? Because with birds, you got that third dimension. They can fly up and down.
Yeah.
So they adapted that study to herd the birds, and they're good at it. Drones can chase them away from the airports all by themselves, autonomously.
See, I think that eventually the birds will be less scared of the drone, and it will be less effective. Well, it's like Rue when she's exposed to more flowers. She gets less scared of them.
But we could dress the birds up as predatory birds.
The birds.
Like
The drone.
The drones. We'll dress the drones up as predatory birds, right?
I guess that would work. Or maybe that would make... See, you're not thinking... So what would happen is that then they don't have a fear of the predatory bird, so when they reach one in the wild, they're not afraid of it because they think, oh, it's just that one that herds us away from the airport. And then they die, and then you have a mass extinction event, and then biologists are all freaking out. Somehow it affects the bees. All the bees die. And there we are. And then we have no wine.
I'm going to take a drink for bird extinction. You know what? I'm against this. I'm against drones. You've convinced me. No more drones versus birds.
Because you don't know. You don't know.
If your plane,
Life finds a way, and so does
your
death.
plane goes down because of a flock of birds, that's
That's the cost of
that's
doing
what
business.
was meant to be. You were meant to die. You might be the next Hitler. And then you were meant to die. You know what? I bet Hitler was on a plane. And somehow they circumvented the flock of birds that shouldn't have happened. And that's why we got the Holocaust.
If he'd just been accepted into art school.
How about this little robot?
So we did a story about Cosmo ages ago. It's a little tiny white robot. And that's this guy's little brother. This guy's named Vector.
You know what she's saying to that robot?
Bush did 9/11.
She's saying jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
I love that meme. It's so stupid. But Vector is Cosmo's older brother, the next generation, and he has some new features.
So before Cosmo, if you're hip to Cosmo, he actually ran off of your smartphone. He was a Bluetooth connection. Vector has the chip on board. Vector is autonomous. So you can pet him.
And he'll react.
He'll do. I think they have a GIF
He's,
down here.
Cosmo was adorable, and I think Vector is well on track to being just as adorable as Cosmo was. They play games with you. They can sort like blocks and shapes and colors. And
Look how happy this woman is, and her happiness is 100% due to Vector.
Cosmo, I think you could buy him on Amazon. I think he was about $200. I'm not sure how much Vector retails for.
Here he is being petted.
Look at
Look at
him.
his little eyes. So Cosmo was 150, I think, or 175. Vector will be 250, but if you kickstart 200, you'll save that 50.
I mean, for a kid, that's kind of neat. I don't know. I think you can train Cosmo to do like basic programming logic as well. And so that might be a good thing for kids.
Vector is designed to be always on, right? So he's got a charging station, which he will go back to when he needs to.
Aw.
And when you summon him, he's like, hey, Vector, come here. He will leave his charging station and come and interact with you. And then if you ignore him, he will explore his surroundings.
Looking for weapons. You dropped a safety pin. He's going to tuck that away.
He's got like a little bulldozer like lifter.
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
use.
And that's how he interacts with like the little blocks and stuff he comes with.
So you can play blackjack with him.
Oh, I didn't. That's new.
Yeah.
Cosmo didn't do that. That's new to Vector.
Listen, Vector, he's new.
Vector sounds a little more intimidating than Cosmo, I think.
It's not a great name.
It's not. He sounds a little like scary. Like he might just pull a
Yeah.
gun on you in the middle of the night.
You think of Vector, you're thinking of like military aircraft.
Yeah.
That's where my mind goes.
Oh, well, and he's like, all black now. And like with his little beady eyes.
So are you saying that black robots are less trustworthy than regular robots? 'Cause
No.
we did a story about that. That's
No,
your
I'm saying-
inherent racism.
I'm saying matte black has a slightly more intimidating. Like, thinking about gaming computers, usually dark black, dark colors with a bright RGB, and then like work computers, usually just plain white.
I think we're hearing white privilege.
Maybe. Or the PC industry is racist.
Rue is black.
Well, she's black and white.
Well,
She's ebony and ivory
She's
living
mostly
in
black,
perfect
right?
harmony. Yeah, mostly black.
Yeah, so I don't feel racist toward her.
No.
Although I've never actually met her.
You'll meet her. She's in there. She'll be on the stream tonight or Sunday, which you guys can watch after this.
Well, I am, my nose is numb. Is your nose
Numb?
numb? Yeah, I'm getting drunk.
I think that you're like Gimli from Lord of the Rings, where like he gets super drunk on the ale, and then like Legolas is like, oh, it's starting to affect me. My fingertips feel a little weird.
Yeah, I got some numbness in my extremities.
I'm feeling fine right now.
toads are good.
If I stand up, I might feel a little
Well,
weird.
look at your little tiny amount of wine that you
This is a lot for me. I don't drink much.
This is our last story, and this has to do with design, which, in case you didn't know, Krista claims to have some knowledge in this.
In this field,
That's
I do
it.
get paid as a designer in my day job.
Let's look at, so this is Space Force. Now, if you don't know about Space Force,
It's there to combat space ISIS.
Sessions announced this week, we're going forward. We're going to have a branch of the military that is exclusive to space. Which, here's the thing. There's no one in space to fight.
That we know of.
If we find them, let's kill them.
Immediately. Just don't ask any questions. So
But
here's the logos.
Most importantly,
Oh, look how tiny they are.
that's terrible.
Can you control plus?
We,
Zoom?
This shitty browser doesn't have view image URL. Well, yeah, you can see them here. This is so this one is basically just a ripoff of NASA.
See, I
Yeah.
think my issue with these logos is that this is supposed to be a military endeavor. None of these really feel military to me. And they don't feel like United States either. Like, they're not really red, white,
Absolutely
blue.
not. There should be an eagle incorporated. Somewhere there should be an eagle. I think we should
It's like Canadian, like Canada logos always have a maple leaf. We have to have an eagle.
Right. I think we should be the moon, right?
Okay.
It should be the moon in the crosshairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
that actually would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
I think these are well done logos. Like, they're well rendered. I just don't know conceptually if they're that good.
And this one says Mars awaits. Like, what the fuck is that?
Well, and what happens when we need to attack, like, Pluto?
Exactly. Why are we focusing all of our energy on one planet?
We could be destroying all of them.
There's so many that we could be destroying. So there's some guy who's campaigning, and he's going to be in charge of Space Force. I don't know. This came out in an email. These logos are garbage. Krista likes...
I don't think that they're garbage. I
Which
think
one
they're
did you
they're
like
well
one of
done.
them?
I just don't think that they meet the brief.
You like the blue one, which is like a preschool.
No. It's the second.
This one.
Yeah, there you go. Second row.
That's the light blue one.
Yeah, I think that one looks nice.
Nah, I mean, at least it's a shield, so that's something.
Yeah.
But look at this little stupid shuttle here. That's not intimidating.
The other thing that you run into with all of these logos is that they're not going to reduce down to one color, which is a big issue with logos, especially if they want to get it embroidered on their space uniforms.
Yeah, so I was thinking about, like, Army is the star, right? Mm-hmm. And Marines is the chevron.
Yeah.
What's Navy? I don't know what Navy is.
A boat.
But those are very simple.
Yeah. That's a big thing in logo design, is making sure it reduces down to one color. So that way it'll work if you have to put it in a newspaper. It works if you have to embroider it on a shirt. Like, none of these really meet that criteria. They're kind of nice conceptually, but they're not really meeting the brief of something that would be military.
Although everything that's going to go into space is going to cost, like, $1 billion. So you can spend a couple of bucks painting it.
or maybe doing embroidery in 2 colors instead of one.
I mean, like a spacesuit, you know. It's
But of the things that you want to spend money on in a space program, is embroidery for your uniforms really like top priority?
But
I would argue no.
I'm doubling down. I think the moon in crosshairs.
I do think that would be cool.
I think that's, and maybe like an eagle somewhere.
An eagle over the moon.
Maybe, yeah. All right. Well, that's our last story for Wednesday, and let me tell you, I am more drunk. I'm going to do a end of episode drink.
I'll take one.
All right.
Hit my teeth with my plastic bottle.
Tomorrow, not tomorrow, Friday, we're going to be doing security. Krista loves security stories.
That's my least favorite. Cryptocurrency, security, and sometimes hardware is interesting, but those are like my 3 least favorite categories.
Here's the thing about it. Security stories always require a drink. So it's going to be a spiral.
I'm probably going to go through this whole bottle, which I did not think I would do.
It's going to be a spiral on Friday. And security and hardware. We haven't done hardware yet, right?
No, I don't think
hardware and nonsense, which is everybody's favorite.
Nonsense has some good stories this week.
So tune in for that and witness the spiral.
The culmination.
I might finish this bottle, which...
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
That's like
This is why we don't do this very often.
That's like an intervention.
Wendell has to stop traveling so much, is what that means.
But once I'll reiterate, you guys have asked for more. You said, let's see everybody else drinking. So
here I am.
Here we go. Krista.
This is like, I think I counted how many times I've drank. This is probably the 5th time I've drank this year. We're in August now.
Wow.
I don't drink much.
All for you. Look what we do for you. And you don't even have the decency to upvote.
Store.level1 text. It's fine.
We'll see you on Friday.
Hello. Today is August 17th, 2018, and you're one day closer to death.
And we are
also slowly hastening our deaths.
Lit. I'm
lit.
almost through this bottle. I think you're a little closer than you like to admit.
I'm feeling a little bit, but I got up and felt fine. Ryan got up a second ago and was like, "Whoa!"
Show your little bottle. Look how pathetic that is. But you're almost through it.
Yeah, you can see.
This is a new territory for Krista. She doesn't drink this much.
I drink very seldom, and usually I'll have like 1 or 2 drinks.
Let's do a celebration. Krista drunker than she's ever been drinking.
Most I've ever had in one sitting is like 2 or 3 beers. So.
Oh, I've left it on the wrong story.
You idiot!
What have I done?
You're gonna ruin this news show.
Let's
talk
so
informative.
About Google and the Chrome store. Google. So there was this app on the Chrome store
for anti-censorship that was being used in
China. It was called Ahoy, and I say it like that because there's an exclamation point. See the exclamation?
Ahoy!
Ahoy! And Ahoy will let you bypass censorship in countries that block certain websites. So use a proxy and sends you through the Ahoy proxy. And if you tried to go to a website that you couldn't get to, Ahoy would detect it and set up a new proxy for you. Pretty cool, right? Google's decided that's not allowed. It's blocked.
Rip in peace, people from countries where many things are blocked.
So you have to imagine that Google's recent snuggling up to China, their besties.
Snuggling up.
Their besties.
They have
China.
the best friend bracelets.
Yeah, they got the heart.
Yeah, or it's 2 pieces.
They got the right heart. China's got the left heart.
No one else is allowed in on that.
So they probably, that's probably part of this. They don't want anything on the Chrome store that will let you bypass. Good news is Firefox plugin, you still get it.
Classic Firefox.
So you can just go to Firefox, you're good.
Firefox Master Race.
Still get your Netflix or whatever, and your banned country. So look into that. Well, Discord. Now we have a Discord for Level 1 Text, which I do not spend a lot of time
That
on.
one's community run. Actually, both the Discords, both Team PGP and the Level 1 Discord are community run.
Now I do check out the Team PGP Discord. There is not a lot of white nationalist talk in that. There's a lot of keyboard talk.
Yeah. Keyboard snobbery, alcohol snobbery.
they're not too bad about some of that.
Some of it, they're not bad. It's pretty standard in both our Discords just to be mostly tech related.
This
we're a
story
tech place.
is about Discord and the Charlottesville
white supremacists.
I think, isn't this weekend part 2 of Charlottesville, right? I can't remember what it's called. But I think there's another rally that's happening right now, or will be in the coming week, of the white nationalists doing another one.
Oh, and they ran over some people.
They did.
As one does, and people are trying to convince Discord to hand over the information from the Discord because they think that they were planning it all along, like it was a conspiracy.
There was, now, the Dodge Charger ran over some people, and so what they're trying to prove is that there was planning for violence by the right-wingers before the event. And they're saying that Discord is what they used to plan all this. So they want to subpoena Discord for all those chat records. So if you're a Discord user, you got to think, whatever you've said on Discord could be subpoenaed.
Man, I have a lot of shit posts that have gone on a personal Discord with some friends.
How much Overwatch shit talk do you have on Discord?
Not a lot. It's mostly just like really depressing memes.
Now, I want to point out one thing about this article. So the main girl, Crystal.Knight, this has to be your new Overwatch ID. Oh,
Crystal. I love reading out my favorite ID. That's usually what, if I talk Overwatch in Discord.
Do you get it though? Crystal.Knight?
No.
Crystal Knot? The Knight of the Broken Glass? History lesson.
I know what you're talking about, but I've never heard that term.
But look how it's spelled. It's spelled like your name.
It is. I've heard not. It's not. That's not how it's said in German, though.
Well, right. But so, level 1 history lesson. The Nazis.
I know what you're talking about. That you're not.
I'm telling them. I know you know, because you're German heritage. The Nazis, at one point, broke all of the storefront windows of the Jews and arrested them that tried to prevent that from happening. And they called that Kristallnacht, the night of the broken glass. So this gal is calling herself Crystal Knight. Get it?
That seems like a kind of, if that is what it is referencing, that seems sort of like a horrible reference.
You think there's any chance that's not what it's referencing? She's alt-right. She's the white nationalist, and she calls herself Crystal.Knight.
Why would you do that?
Because you hate minorities?
I guess.
Anyway.
Those poor people lost everything they owned. You're just crapping all over them.
So yeah, some terrible people did some terrible things, and it was on Discord. And so now everything you do on Discord, just assume that it's being monitored.
Well, I don't doubt. Discord's a free service, which means that it's not really free. They're selling all your stuff anyway. So
one thing I know about you that I've learned during our interactions at Level 1 Techs, you love the Weather Channel.
I did. Growing up, other kids were watching, like, around, like, 13, everyone started watching, MTV, VH1. Everyone was really into the Austin Power movies. It was a weird time. But I was watching the Weather Channel every day.
Well, you will be terrified to find out that the Weather Channel, the NOAA facility, has been hacked by the Chinese.
Sort of. Kind of. Not really, but enough. Look how confused this guy looks.
He's so confused he's blurred out.
I was about to make that same joke. NOAA, if you're ever looking for a super accurate forecast, I suggest NOAA.gov. Theirs is usually the most accurate.
We should say it stands for National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. NOAA.
They heard a sound over their intercom, and it was Chinese.
And what it was saying was, you have a package at the Chinese embassy. Press 1 for more information.
Now, you can imagine that no one there did have a Chinese package at the Chinese embassy.
Well, we don't know that.
I mean, they could have, but this was not what that was for. It was actually a phishing call.
So
this somehow got broadcasted.
This is phishing, and if you are a Chinese national, they expect you to be ignorant to the fact that they don't send your packages to the embassy. That's not how that works.
No.
But you press 1, and it starts to ask you for personal information, credit card, and social security, and blah, blah, blah. And somehow this got into the NOAA intercom system, which is disturbing.
When it said, like, when I first read the title and it was like Chinese, I like to imagine it was like May's alt line. Like, freeze, don't move, but in Chinese. Something really bizarre like that.
That's a security drink.
Oh, okay, that's right.
I did mine. We drink when there's security.
I'm going to get through this whole bottle.
Oh, look at that.
That's a lot of alcohol.
That's not that much. How about, do you ever charge your battery powered products?
Oh my gosh, I do. That's so relatable.
So I do too. What a coincidence that both of us use battery chargers. Well, it turns out this guy, some security researcher, he developed this charger, and these blacked out spots, you're not allowed to see that.
It's redacted.
It's secret. But he's got this charger that can sniff your passwords if you're using it.
So if you hook into it, there go all your passwords.
Yeah. So think about if you went, let's say you went to Starbucks or Panera Bread.
As one does, because they have excellent summer corn chowder.
Delicious.
Recommended.
And you sit down at a table and you got your Frappuccino or whatever it is that you
Your summer corn chowder from Panera.
Summer corn chowder, yeah. And there's a charger there. And you're at 33%, so you're saying to yourself, I need to charge.
Oh, for me, that's like, oh, I've got all day. I'll wait till it's down to 5% before I charge that
So you plug
sucker.
it in, and all of a sudden somebody's sniffing your passwords.
See, the solution is just not to care about your charge until you're down to nothing.
Security drink. So watch out. This does not just affect Apple. I know it's fun to you know, when Apple has security problems, we like to make fun of them, but USB-C is also susceptible. So all your devices, if you don't know where your charger came from,
Practice safe charging.
safe charging.
Is what you're saying.
That's an excellent way to put it. There is no prophylactic for charging. You have to know your partner's history. That's the only way. And speaking of,
There's no segue. Even anonymous coders leave fingerprints, which basically just means that they can tell if you wrote the code, even if there's no sign that you wrote the code.
Now this,
based on how you wrote it.
Sometimes I forget that people complain if you don't leave the story up long enough.
They do, yeah.
Apparently, a lot of people in our audience read on a first grade level because there are 5 words here.
Well, there's also links in the description.
I guess there's the URL, but some people don't understand that we provide the one tab.
That's what I mean. Like, there's a whole tab full of, like, you can find all those articles on the forum or...
Some people don't read the description. So here's a public service announcement. If you're angry that we don't give links to the articles we cover, it's in that one tab link in the description.
That way you don't have to have a big long list of crap.
Viva la technology. So if you write code, especially if you put code out there on GitHub, an open source, where somebody can look at it and feed it to an AI.
And make an educated guess.
They can track you. Here's the amazing thing about it. It can be decompiled code. So you compile your code to binary and then it gets decompiled. Your tracks remain.
I could see that, like, just on a human level. I can tell who wrote what code generally in our office.
Now here's the thing about it. They don't look at things like tabbing and spacing.
People who don't do those things are
It's
savages.
like a more of a meta thing.
How you organize it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm very particular about how I organize things like style sheets and like, you know, everything is very, very organized. Everything has a heading that's like, this is for the body area, this is for interior pages, this is for headings, this is for text, this is for our default colors. You could probably tell my own CSS files pretty quick, just based on comments alone.
Yeah. You're kind of a little bit of an Aspie.
A little persnickety about making sure that it's, you know, readable and you can add stuff to it easily in the future.
I have encountered text editors that don't like the commenting style that we use sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that the one that was adding like all the weird long spaces?
I think so, yeah.
Like you'd open up that file and it'd just be like a ton of white space? What was that?
So
I remember that happening.
We use the Visual Basic editor sometimes.
Yeah.
Visual Basic Editor and Vim do not get along.
So you open one file and then it's like it just adds white space.
If you Vim edit something that was created with Visual Basic Editor, it wrecks it completely.
Yeah, because I remember I would open some of those files and I was like, why is there so much white space in here?
Yeah.
And that's why. Turns out.
It's software racism, and we shouldn't stand for it.
But we will.
Are we going to drink to that?
Lazy.
Let's do it. Well,
taking sips at this point.
I use CCleaner. Do you use CCleaner?
I have, yeah. CC cleaner is what he's saying, if you're confused.
No.
You said C cleaner.
C cleaner.
Is it? I always say CC
the
cleaner.
The word cleaner has a C in it.
You're right. But I don't want you to be right because I always say CC cleaner.
It doesn't matter what you want.
That's how I always read it.
So Avast,
ahoy and Avast.
Avast, the evil corporation bought CCleaner. And what did they do? They ruined it.
They did ruin it. There were some privacy concerns in the latest update.
Look at this guy.
He looks upset.
He has no idea what's going on. It's like, what the fuck has Avast done?
Do you think the person who's like the editor of this article was like, I don't really understand the controversy here, so I'm just going to get a stock photo of how I feel right now?
Betanews.com.
Yeah.
They don't get it. They don't understand.
But basically there was a security flaw in the latest version, and they ended up having to roll back to, I think it's 5.4.
But see, you make it sound like it was an accident. It was not.
It was not. No, you couldn't disable it.
There's a free version of CCleaner.
Yeah.
They removed the ability to turn off tracking. They removed the ability to close the application. So CCleaner was always active. It was always looking at your system, and it was always reporting home.
It was always cleaning. It's like having your mother-in-law live on your machine.
It wasn't necessarily cleaning. It was just looking at everything.
Like a mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Mother-in-law living on your machine.
So
looking through your stuff, looking at your vents.
People were very pissed off about that. Rightly so. And they have backtracked. They've said, we're sorry. We've rolled back to the previous. Uninstall. If you got the newest one, roll back. Get the other version. And we won't do it again. They're going to do it.
They're going to do it again. We'll talk about it in a few weeks.
Let's drink to that. Let's see. What do you got? Wow. Look at your progress.
I thought I would get through maybe half this bottle. This is more alcohol than I intended to drink.
She's doing it for you. When I talk to a group of unknown individuals, I want to call them chat from Twitch. You know?
Oh, yeah.
We're doing it for you.
Hey, chat.
How's it going, chat? But there is no chat.
It's just YouTube.
You're kind of our chat. So.
Hey, Tube. Hey, other tubers.
Hey, Tube.
Hey, tubers. You guys are looking extra potato-y today.
Well, it's too bad that Wendell's not here, because we could get some solid Linux signaling if he were here right now.
We could.
But this is a flaw. Rare that we get a flaw that only affects Linux.
TCP flaw lets remote attackers stall devices with tiny little baby DOS attack.
So the newer Linux kernels have a way that you can shape your TCP packets that make them much more intensive to deal with. And so even a small amount of TCP traffic can lock up a Linux system because you shape them in this certain way. Now here's the catch. You can't spoof the IP because you need two-way communication for this to happen. So if you're going to do it, you got to own it. You got to be willing to expose yourself as the DDoSer.
Yeah,
or
be willing to open that trench coat.
Or you just have a botnet that you're willing to use for that.
This seems like, who am I kidding? Someone will definitely attack someone for this.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, here's our favorite. So we were going through these articles. This is the most bizarre ad we've ever seen. This is, what's his, Hard Time Harold?
Harold, yeah.
He's the stock photo model. I can't remember. There's an actual name for him.
He's the Shutterstock guy.
Yeah. But there's this ad up here. He's holding a Bitcoin mug, but what the hell is on his forehead?
Hype-free blockchain and cryptocurrency news. I guess it's a website.
Look how happy he is.
Well, he's got that, like...
Illuminati's triangle on his head, or the Deathly Hollows.
He's got that like gun to his head smile
Yeah.
that Harold is famous for.
He's Russian, apparently. They found the guy.
It's got nothing to do with the story. The actual story is about Snapchat. And someone has gotten a hold of some kind of source code. We're not even sure which that belongs to Snapchat.
I thought the source code, in this article was confirmed to be iOS.
Well,
Source
it
code.
is compiled in
Is it Visual Basic or no?
C, Objective-C.
That's it.
So, which is an Apple language.
Yes.
So, they assumed these. What is this? The Next Web did not get a look at it before it was taken down. So they're not sure. But something of Snapchat was put on GitHub, some kind of source code. And actually, they've got a copy of Snapchat's correspondence, and it's, I gotta grade these cookies.
I don't want any more cookies.
They actually all caps
messaged
in their report of take this down, and it was taken down. But it seems like whoever got this wants a bug bounty for it.
Yeah.
And is it really a bug if you just stole the source code?
Maybe if it was really Becky. It's the argument like, I know there's a bug in here somewhere.
Could be. You know what?
It's a pretty low ball.
That's a security risk. Let's drink to it.
I feel like Rue, because I just like silently burped and it surprised myself. I was like, oh.
Does she do that a lot?
Yeah, she's real dumb that way. Like if she sneezes or something, she'll like.
I want to maintain the
Rue is dumb.
The Rue is dumb meme.
It's funny. It is funny, and I call her dumb all the time.
Yeah, that's probably bad.
She doesn't care. Her tail wags.
You probably shouldn't do that to your kids. Your fur babies.
She's not a fur baby. She's a dog.
She's
my buddy, but she's a dog.
Buddy. You do travel around with her.
Well, she's in the office right now.
When you did she just sit in the passenger seat when you travel around with her?
Oh no, she sits in the captain's chair, which is like she wants to sit. So like there's like that center console. Oh. She'll like peek out of the center console.
Isn't that bad? Like she would be thrown from the car in the collision, right?
Yeah. They make dog seat belts, and I've looked into them. They're very expensive, and B, there's almost none that have actually been tested. So it's like just some sort of Amazon thing.
Well, here's something that has been tested. And this actually, Krista, one of the things, and I feel like you've gotten away from this, but you used to be a prolific social media stalker.
Like every client who came through this door, I knew everything about them, before they left the building.
And it was very easy for you to cross-reference different kinds of social media.
I don't have to do it as much anymore. People are much more like...
Yeah, well, they're open.
Yeah.
But if you need to do this, here's the good news. There's an open source tool that will let you track images across all social networks.
Which, that's only assuming, I guess, if they're using... Oh, no. What if they're not using pictures of their face? Like on mine, I always use the picture of Franklin from Arrested Development.
Well, do you use it everywhere?
Almost.
Well, there you go.
They think it's... Well, then it's like, well, this is a puppet face, so it can't be real.
So
can they recognize puppets? Is what I'm asking.
I don't know. They don't cover that on The Verge, but they do talk about how the social mapper. It's open source. You can go and grab it if you want. You can check out again the one tab link. You can go and get the Verge story here. You can download this, and it doesn't need any kind of API. It just uses the raw web searching like anybody could see without authentication. And it will track your victim. But because the web search, it's not using an API, it's fairly slow.
Yeah.
So you're going to need to narrow down your search to a certain number of people. Yeah.
The way we found people before, it's unreal. I think we found someone through analytics once. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
Well, you say that, but you're the one doing it.
Yeah.
And no one's prompting
do you want someone like me looking at your information? The answer is no. Look at my eyes. They're crazy. No one should have such weird eyes.
Yeah, we should probably drink too.
Yeah.
Crazy Krista tracking you down and learning your secrets.
Well, I don't usually learn secrets. I learn innocuous things, but...
What about remember the one guy?
Oh, yeah.
The rainbow guy.
Oh, no, Coral MacBook. That was his nickname in the
There
office.
was a gentleman who was homosexual. And
Which is fine, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not judging him, right?
Yeah.
Do what you want. But through his business accounts, we were able to find graphic detail
About his grinder activities.
about his homosexuality, which I don't care what your sexuality is.
But when
It
you talk about
shouldn't-
on your profile, like how you want to be a social media professional,
Exactly.
and then you have a talk about how Saturday night you went out on Grinder, and like,
Right.
it's a little weird. It would be weird if you were straight. It's weird if you're gay.
And-
It's just weird.
It is, yeah. Well, I mean, you think about a girl who would be like, I'm just banging everything.
Or even a dude. It's weird.
It is weird.
It's weird.
Let's drink to
How weird that was.
the guy who put his...
That's not even the weirdest thing we found on client social media accounts.
No. Well, before you ever got here, the stuff we found on laptops.
I didn't ever have to do that.
That was
I've only ever worked
that
in
was
web,
criminal. There were criminal things we found.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Well, one social media thing that you don't use is WhatsApp.
Yeah, I don't use WhatsApp. I don't think Level 1 doesn't have a WhatsApp either. Or Instagram.
WhatsApp is more popular in the emerging markets, as
The emerging markets.
we've learned to call them.
Well, I think WhatsApp's popular with kids as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was more like a Middle East, Asian type of thing.
Well, it's true. I have a friend who lives in the Middle East, and she says WhatsApp's really popular there.
Yeah, it's a Middle Eastern thing. So, bad news for her. WhatsApp, there is a way to manipulate quoted text in WhatsApp.
And it works the same way it would with a forwarded email.
Right. If you forward email and you see the email from somebody else, you can go down there and type whatever you want in the forwarded email. And that's kind of the same idea here. People have complained, but WhatsApp is saying, hey, it's just like email, right? What do you expect us to do? Who are we? Are we magicians? Are we genies? What do you want us to do?
We're genies. Legally, we cannot call ourselves wizards.
So, but the problem is, as we've seen with WhatsApp, in the emerging markets, lynchings can occur because of WhatsApp. Remember those stories?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, let's say that I forward a message to Krista, and I'm like, hey.
Wendell said he hates Rue.
And then Krista changes that message to say, Wendell says he hates Jews.
Oh,
And forwards that, and then Wendell gets killed by a mob. That's the kind of thing.
And really, he just hated my dog, and he was like, "Why do you keep bringing her to the office?"
I think Wendell does have a difficulty bonding with animals.
He does, yeah. He has a cat at his house.
The cat that lives at his house, he clearly has a difficulty.
Like, he wants to bond with it, but he doesn't know what to do with it.
I don't know if he does. I think he's fine with the cat, but he has no way of understanding cat behavior.
Yeah. Yeah, because he'll, like, just poke it and stuff, and the cat's like, stop. And I'm just like, but why don't you love me?
Well, Comcast. Are you a Comcast user? Many of you are. And I know that statistically, right?
I know that because I stalk all of your social media profiles.
And you use the image detection open source library.
And I found out.
to stir around. Well, if you're Xfinity, that's hardcore, right? That's like a cool name.
Well, it's just the X, not EX. It's just X.
Xfinity. If you're an Xfinity user, bad news. Your home address can be revealed. So this is an interesting thing. When you go to the Xfinity website and they're trying to determine who you are, you can put in your I'm too drunk to remember the details of the story.
I don't remember the story, so
you can put in something, some item of information, and it will give you 4 choices of your address, right?
Okay. Walk me through this article.
One of those choices is real. Now, if you were to refresh that page,
okay, I remember this now.
If you refresh the page, you get 4 more choices. 3 of them have changed, but the real one remained the same. So you can imagine you refresh that page 10, 20 times.
Process of elimination.
The one always stays the same. And now, it's the IP address. Mm-hmm. You spoof the person's IP address.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
You spoof the IP address. You go to the Xfinity page. You can. So let's say you're playing Overwatch.
As one does
and
every day.
You're drunk. You're using your crystal.night username. You've got to use that. That's so
I'm not going to use that as a username.
You teabag a
Genji main.
What's the social justice guy? The Jamaican guy.
He's not Jamaican. He's Brazilian.
Oh, okay. Lucio. Well, but he's black, so that would make it more hate crimey. You teabag the Lucio, and that person is like, "Oh my God, this is a National Socialist. Let me try to find out where they live." So they find out your IP address. They go to Xfinity. They plug it in. They refresh 10 or 20 times. They know where you live. They call them the SWAT.
And there I am.
You get shot. You're done.
There I am, drunk on a Tuesday afternoon.
Playing Overwatch. You
Cheeto dust on my belly.
You slam the door open. What are you pigs doing here? And boom. That's it. That's it for you.
That's how I usually respond to police.
Yeah.
I just yell out, pigs. Because...
Let's take a drink for Xfinity stupidity. There was also another flaw. I don't remember what it was. And to be honest,
you're going to finish that bottle.
We're moving on. Pacemakers. This is terrifying.
This is so we talked about a pacemaker hack a while back. This one is different. It's a different manufacturer, and this one is a little more serious because they can actually deliver an electric shock that changes the pace of your pacemaker.
So they've figured out, this was a couple of researchers, and they bought a programming device from eBay. They thought they'd found a flaw, but they couldn't legally test it because you can't.
It could kill someone.
Right, yeah. So they got a hold of a pacemaker, they got a hold of one of these programming devices, and they confirmed they could change your heartbeat. They could withhold the shocks to keep it from fixing you.
Yeah.
And they could also activate the shocks at the wrong time.
So my mom actually has a pacemaker, and I was worried about this because I was like, oh, my mom was pacemaker dependent. If you scroll down there, what was the name of the manufacturer? Medtronic. So if you or someone you know has a Medtronic pacemaker, you might, I don't know. You really don't want to spend all that money to get a new one put in.
Well, not only the money, but you got to go under the knife again.
Yeah.
But Medtronic...
It's actually a fairly quick surgery, but...
Medtronic has responded, and they said it's not a big deal.
I mean, what kind of monster would go through and do that? I mean, I'm sure someone would, but...
We totally have those people. Those people exist. They're out there. And... you get an email. It's like, hey, I've got your information on your pacemaker. Send me a Bitcoin.
That would be... Let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope we don't have to do a news story about that next week.
Oh, that's going to happen. Wait. Or it won't be next week. It'll be down the road a little bit. But what percentage of people have pacemakers?
I don't know. My mom had to get one fairly young. She had a lot of stress younger in her life. And then had to get one.
I don't know. I think it's probably more common than we think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very common. Later in life, especially. My mom's just keeps her heart in rhythm. Her heart goes down instead of up when she exercises.
This could be... The pacemaker people don't use any sort of encryption for the pacemakers.
Because they're like, what kind of monster?
I guess, yeah. So they need to start doing that, and hopefully we'll see that. But does somebody have to die before we'll see that? That's the That's
probably, yeah. Unfortunately, they don't want to change it.
Well, time to convert into hardware news. How exciting. And let's talk about the hype jar. This is hype jar material.
AMD, massive shills.
The hype jar, it's kind of covered up. It's let's move this out of the way
here. There you go. Woohoo!
Oh, you're not good at making it rain.
I'm not.
Something tells me you've never been to a strip club.
No, I have not.
Well, AMD, they're coming out with the 2990WX. What is the 2990WX?
The worst name.
It is the baddest ass Threadripper 2 that you're going to be able to get. It's going to be the $1,800 version. And they claim, now this is AMD themselves, quote unquote, leaking this on a French website.
Their own French website.
53% faster on multi-threaded applications than the i9 7980XE, which is $2,000, which is the flagship Intel product.
The TLDR here is, let's wait for third-party benchmarks.
Well, I don't find this hard to believe because we know that Intel, they're not great at the multi-threaded performance. But this is, if you're playing Fortnite, bad news. Single-threaded performance, Intel's still probably going to be the leader. But if you're rendering certain things, this is going to be a huge new step. If you're willing to pay the $1,800 price for your CPU, huge improvements supposedly coming out of Threadripper 2.
And what kind of human are you if you don't buy AMD?
Oh. The worst kind. Literal. It's like we were talking earlier about the Nazi stuff, the white nationalists.
You're literally one of those people.
Same kind of people buy Intel.
Now, red versus blue, you can agree either way that Apple sucks.
I think so, right?
And that was what a good segue that was.
What? I think the recent Apple's running AMD, right?
I don't know.
I don't pay attention to Apple. Yeah. But what we do know about the MacBook Pro is that it is garbage. The keyboard sucks, right?
I guess, yes.
The thermals suck.
Yeah.
We've learned the highest end, just trash. And now we've learned that the audio sucks.
And look at this picture.
Steve Jobs, the ghost of Steve Jobs.
They really should have made him semi-transparent.
He's crushing the head.
The perspective thing.
Crushing the head. Yeah. So there's a sound bar on the Mac Pro.
Yes.
And it crackles.
And they say even if it's fairly low volume, some people are reporting it in YouTube, other people are reporting it in Apple Music. Basically, lots of different applications, which sort of points to it not being software, but actually hardware related. Apple has not commented. They're just been like, oh, we'll look into it. But
they did say that one person on a forum commented that it's going to be fixed with the next OS release. But no one's able to confirm that person knows what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, that could just be some idiot.
Let's drink to Apple being the worst hardware company ever.
Look how much alcohol. Look, it's under the label.
Well, here's some good news.
Ooh.
You want to store a lot of data, right?
I do. Of course I do.
You want to store all the data.
Yes.
You don't want limits. Everybody hates limits, right?
I want to push it to the limit.
How about 1 petabyte? Are you ready for a petabyte?
No.
And 1 U of rack space. That's what Intel is going to bring.
Wow. I am just floored.
This is, let me see if I can find the mouse cursor. This is the ruler form factor. I believe there's a picture of it. There it is. Look at that. Look at it.
It is kind of neat looking.
32 terabytes. And what is being held in the human hand right there. Look at that. Incredible. So the idea is you can run so many of these things in a 1U rack and you can get 1 petabyte of storage space because these long, thin SSDs, they're good for cooling. They're good for putting a bunch of them together. And they're saying that this is going to be...
sleek, fashionable.
M.2 is old. It's the history, it's the past. The future is ruler style.
They should call it ruler style.
They are calling it that.
Are they really? I thought you were just like...
No, they call it ruler form factor.
Wow.
I think.
Not
long and skinny.
Another unrealistic expectation for hardware's bodies.
Body image. Somebody said that on the Twitch chat, said that you weren't giving Rue tendies because of unrealistic body image.
Listen, she's a lab mix, and labs are known to overeat, so I'm very cautious about making sure.
So racist.
It's racist but
It's
accurate. Having
August.
owned a lab before.
August.
My last lab got a bit fat there for a while.
We talked about the sunken data center.
We
Remember
did.
the sunken data
We have
center.
a lot of like follow-up stories this week.
Yeah. So Microsoft took a data center and they just dumped it in the ocean.
Yes.
And the idea was keep it cool, right?
That'll work, son.
It's cool down in the ocean. If you've ever been down in the ocean, and this is in the UK, so this is not like beautiful California beaches.
No, this is
This
like
is
frigid.
Cold,
Yeah.
inhospitable water place. This is a landmass that should not have human habitation.
And yet it does.
And yet they cling to it as if there's not better places in the world. Well, they sunk a data center. Here's a picture of it. There
But
it
this is not the picture you want to see. The picture you want to see is of the fish
Look.
who live by the data center.
Look at the fish. So you can go to Microsoft's Project Natic site. We'll go to that. We'll go to that.
We'll
here
show you.
live with you. And we can explore it at the same time we do. Oh, here's a loading animation. Loading.
I hate loading animations, just as a side.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because to implement them on a website, you're adding more stuff to load to show the loading animation.
Look at all these fish.
Look how happy they are. I wish I was that happy.
I think they're drawn to the heat. They must
Yeah,
be,
well, clearly.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then so you draw a couple little fish. You're like, man, I'm having trouble staying warm. And then it's like, I want to eat those little fish. So it's just circle of life down there.
So yeah, if you want to go to Microsoft's website, you can watch these fish all day long. You know what I've been watching?
It's like Kitten Academy, but for fish.
I like Kitten Academy. You know what I've been watching is the bears at Yellowstone.
The brown bears or the black bears or both?
don't know
They
if
have
they-
both there.
They have it's the salmon are running. You know,
Oh, okay.
they're
So
doing-
probably grizzlies then.
They're doing the upstream.
Yeah.
And you can watch the bears eat the salmon.
Oh.
Yeah. It's on YouTube. I can't remember what it's called. But it's a live stream and there's so many bears. Like all day long there's bears just eating those
They
salmon.
all like to live out there and chill out
Yeah, that's a cool
with the
thing to watch.
geysers and stuff.
I would recommend checking out the bears. They also have some like leopards and tigers and stuff like that. But the bears, I think, are the most interesting.
Don't they give tigers at Yellowstone? But all
Not at Yellowstone. No. The tigers,
okay.
they're in Africa somewhere. But the bear, and it's cool because the bears, like, they're very like lackadaisical when they eat the salmon, right?
like, oh, I just killed this thing.
Well, they just like they'll chill for a while and just sort of soak in the water, and they're like, you know what? I feel like a salmon right now, and they'll go up to the waterfall.
And then go catch one. We have a problem with black bears in this area, so much so that some of the school bus routes have had to be rerouted because the black bears are in the dumpster.
I talked to my parents last night, and there are reports of black bears in the area. And
Yeah.
they're worried.
I mean, don't feed them.
And well, see, here's the
secure your
thing.
trash.
Here's the thing: my mom has this. She must feed the stray animals, but she can't help.
You're going to have a pet black bear.
I guess. Well, I'm not. I don't live there.
Yeah.
But I'm telling them, I'm like,
Don't feed the black bears because a
Should-
fed bear is a dead
do
bear.
I need to get you a shotgun with some slugs? Because that's the
Fed
only
bear
thing.
is a dead bear. Don't feed the bears.
Fed bear is a
That's what they say at all the national parks. Because then they'll start thinking humans mean food, and then they'll get aggressive.
Well, you know who else is in trouble? I don't have. I thought I had a segue there, but
You do kind of.
You know what?
There's
Let's-
two men
look,
who
where are you?
conned Target.
We're real close.
You're about to finish that.
Let's
I'm
go.
worried for you.
Let's do it. Ah,
I'm pacing myself, and you were just hitting that bottle
well,
hard.
this is the end. We got 4 stories left.
Woo!
Target. I don't shop at Target, but I think you do.
I actually just came from Target this afternoon.
Have you ever bought digital storage from Target, and then rip them off on the returns? Have you ever done that?
No, usually if I buy stuff from Target, it's either wedding presents or decor
Why-
items.
Who's to say that you couldn't give a 32 terabyte hard drive for a wedding present?
I don't think most people would appreciate that.
I think they would. Well, that's what these two guys did. Let's take a look at these guys. Well, first let's take a look at their
They're
handiwork
con
here.
here.
I like how they use different colors of Play-Doh.
Well, you got to use what's on sale.
So they bought these external drives, SSDs, and they returned them, but to simulate the weight, they use Play-Doh. Here it is. Well, let's take a look. Here's one of them. Here's this gentleman. Here's the other guy. He looks a little, he knows what he did. Don't you think?
He looks a little defiant. Like, yeah, I did it.
I'll do it again.
Yeah. He doesn't look like, oh, I feel bad about what I've done here.
So these guys got away with $6,000 worth of external hard drives, swapped them all out with Play-Doh, took them back, returned them, got their money back, and presumably sold the memory for, I don't know who you sell that.
Black market.
What is the black market? Where is I would like to get some black market memory.
No, that's totally a thing. So we had some neighbors who were maybe a little bit drugged out, and they came over once and were like, "Hey, we have some like laptops and stuff we're selling." Or
Did you take them?
No, because hell no. They were totally stolen. Absolutely were.
Yeah.
My mom didn't even question it.
But you could, a laptop. If they were selling desktops, I'd probably take them because you could just strip them for parts, right?
I wouldn't have trusted those people anyway.
Well, you don't have to trust them.
They don't live there no more. But
well, so on the topic of the dregs of society, right? The trash that lives on the
I
street.
just look at the title of the next article. Come on, dude.
In the UK, they have run into a problem because we are going into the cashless society. Krista doesn't have a credit card.
No, I have a debit card, but I don't have a credit card.
What's wrong with you?
I don't want a credit card.
Why don't you get with...
I'm sure all the comments now are going to be like, Krista.
You got to build your credit score, Krista. Well,
I have other debt that builds my credit.
as someone who's looking at buying a house, you want that credit score.
Yeah. I have a decent credit card.
What's your credit score?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm not going to throw it out there either on
I'm
all
trying
these
to do
assholes
that.
that
Are
are
you
listening.
Are you in the 600s? Are you in the 700s?
I'm not telling you. Shh. Sorry.
Well, in the UK, the problem is nobody carries cash, right? I got a little bit of cash on me right now. I usually carry about $100. Like I'll get
a little bit. I usually carry maybe 10.
I'll get $100 out of the ATM.
Look, they're going to mug you now. Our viewers are going to come here and mug you.
Well, I'll shoot them. But I'll roll with $100 until I run out.
Okay.
And then I'll go another $100. But that is purely for delivery foods. That's what I use it for.
Oh, okay. So like if you want to go get fast food or...
I don't like the idea of pre-tipping with delivery. You know? Because the point of the tip in my world, did you get it here on time? Is it warm? Did you do a good job? And pre-tipping, that's the stupidest thing ever.
How could you know?
All right. So if you're giving me a pizza 2 hours later, I'm gonna cut you down. I'm not gonna give you. Are you feeling it?
Sorry, no, keep going. I'm fine.
Well, let's get back to the story. Maybe I was too much of an aside. The homeless people are resorting to barcodes in the UK
to accept cashless payments. Now, say what you want about this. This is actually kind of neat because it does force them to use it on housing or food or not drugs.
That is an interesting thing about this. So this program, obviously a homeless person doesn't have the infrastructure to set up to accept payments.
Unless they did Stripe. You know, that's actually...
Even Stripe, I don't think.
Yeah, well, because a lot of homeless people have cell phones. Could you do that?
No. Because to accept payment, you have to have a bank account.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So the homeless outreach programs in the UK, well, you can go to them and you can set up your own barcode. But you have to sit down with them and be like, well, here are my long-term goals, right?
I want to get a job. I want to get an apartment.
I want to get a house,
yeah.
Some sort of housing. I want to get food. This not on the list that you're allowed to get, crack cocaine.
Which is a bummer, but understandable.
Wow.
I think this is kind of a cool system, though.
It is, but I don't know. Are we encouraging?
Well, if you're already on the street, this could give you some tools to get off the street.
I suppose it's
because instead of having that temptation of like, I just got this cash and now I want to spend it, you can't spend it anywhere except where you have to.
But I wonder, you know how similar to the EBT system here.
Yeah.
Which is like the free
food stamp, yeah.
Food stamps. You can buy certain items and resell them on the black market. Is there any
That's
way
very common around
could
here.
you trick this system into that? I guess if you were getting groceries, you could do the same.
You could, yeah, if you did it with groceries. So like around here, and I don't know how common this is in other places, there's sort of a soda black market where like people will sell soda or
detergent.
Well, you can't get detergent on EBT.
Really?
No, it's only for food. Because I used to work in a grocery store and I got yelled at because people, they couldn't buy cat food, detergent, they couldn't buy energy drinks.
Are you really going to resell the cat food?
People, well, I mean, they have pets, is what they're thinking. You're going to finish this. Did you drink that whole bottle?
You know what they do?
They put that little air bubble.
That little divot at the bottom. That's just to rob you of wine.
Because he needs more in his system.
Bullshit. I'm going to finish it. We got 2 stories left.
The next one is...
By the end of the news, we're both going to finish our bottles of wine. Go ahead. Get that in you. Get that poison down the fire.
I mean, it tastes good, but whew.
Most
I've drank in a long time.
Last week, that's the unit of time I was thinking of. Week. We talked about the hot water challenge.
We did, yes.
A lot of people were unhappy to hear about the hot water challenge.
Because it's idiotic.
It is idiotic. But what's perhaps more idiotic is the Momo suicide challenge. When you think of the name, Momo... you might make your eyes look like her, but
I can't do the mouth.
She's got like look at the hairline. That's the disturbing part. Because you've got a I'm sorry, I don't think you can match her. And how about the pig nose?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's terrifying. So Momo will send you, if you respond to Momo's text messages, she will direct you to, I think it's an app.
You can download her app, yeah.
If you get the Momo app, now what is the Momo app? What will that Momo app do for you? It will encourage you to kill yourself.
This when you said Momo and like before I had any context on the articles, I didn't catch this one this week. I thought this was like a cat thing, like Maru. I thought for some reason, is there a cat named Maru, a famous cat?
Yeah.
Not Maru, but named Momo.
No, there's not.
Momo is the name Peach. It means peach in Japanese.
Does it? You know what Maru means?
No.
Round.
Oh, of course. Because he likes to fit himself in little
fat.
boxes. Yeah,
No,
he's fat.
Fluffy and fat.
Yeah.
Maru's the best cat. Man, you know what? I'm going to be...
You know what? I love Maru.
I do love Maru, and I'm going to be so depressed when Maru does. Maru's 10 years old.
Oh, he's getting up there, even for a cat.
Yeah.
I mean, cats, they usually, 15? Give or take.
We had a cat, and this was just some, trailer trash tabby that made it to 19.
But cats generally don't make it that far.
But Maru lives a pretty good, he's well taken care of. So I think Maru will make like 17, 18 easy.
You got 7 or 8 years.
I don't know. I'm going to miss Maru. They got Hannah, Maru's companion.
Well, isn't Hannah kind of dumb?
She's not the same.
No.
She doesn't have the charisma. But to get back on track, don't do the Momo challenge.
Is it a challenge, really? So much as just a weird...
They call it everything a challenge now. Let's drink to the Momos.
Okay. It's just the one Momo. It's singular.
Well, everybody who participates, I think, is a Momo, right?
Is that like saying like a moron? Momo?
I don't know what it means.
Momo is peach in Japanese, but I don't know what language this is supposed to... What hellscape this came from.
You know what else? Whatever... Detroit. It's 85 degrees in Detroit.
Wow.
That's important to note.
Good for them. Good for them. Good for Detroit.
Well, we're on the final stretch, and we're done with our bottles of wine.
You're done?
I got a little bit left.
Okay, I got a little bit left too.
Yeah, we got 2 more stories. We'll drink on each story, and then we'll go to the Twitch stream. What game are we gonna play?
I don't know. I thought about that earlier, but
we gotta figure that out.
Past Krista didn't thought that was a problem for future Krista.
Yeah, future Krista's.
That's future Krista's problem.
But we're rapidly approaching future Krista. So let's talk more about Elon Musk.
Elon.
What a stupid name. Is it Elon or Ellen?
It's Elon.
Is it Elon?
Yeah, you're calling him Ellen.
Are you sure?
You're calling him a woman. That's insensitive.
Is that the... No.
I'm
So
pretty sure it's
you're
Elon.
saying if a woman, ELON is...
Don't besmirch my gender by...
How do we should not assume his gender. He might be non-binary.
I'm saying you're by roping him in with us. I'm saying
Well,
you're besmirching
actually,
him.
this story doesn't have
Besmirching
anything
us.
to do with him. At first, we thought it did.
But it doesn't.
Turns out it doesn't. So, Einhorn, I think this guy's name is David Einhorn. David Einhorn, yeah. He runs Greenlight Capital. You're familiar with Greenlight Capital, of course, right?
Of course. I think that some homeless people in our dumpster.
Yeah, that's probably almost people. I heard something over
I
there.
made me worry if it was Rue getting out, but I
thought
think
there
they're
might be
outside.
like a rat or something over there earlier because I heard some wires move around.
Maybe it's the ghost of Wendell. He'll be back
You think
next
he's
week.
dead? I don't think he's still alive.
His presence has been making itself known.
So here you see some shorts, right?
Yeah. Booty shorts is...
Showing off that booty. So David Einhorn got a shipment of shorts because he shorts Tesla, the stock.
And everyone assumed it was Elon Musk.
Well, he thought Elon actually tweeted and he said, I will send you some shorts.
Do you think they said juicy on the back?
Yeah, he said, so Einhorn said he's happy for his lease to be over on his Tesla because it's crappy. And Musk said, tragic. That's like Trump when Trump was sad.
Sad, yeah. Tragic.
We'll send Einhorn a box of short shorts. So actually he didn't. It was this company. I don't remember what their name is. But it was just
It's a failed publicity stunt
some
if you don't remember
short
their name.
company sent him, and it wasn't Musk at all.
It wasn't. TLDR, it wasn't Musk. Was actually someone trying to capitalize on the drama.
But Greenlight Capital has lost a lot of money. Now this is a hedge fund, so other people have given him their money. Einhorn, they've given them their money. They're like, hey, you know how to invest, right? Invest our money. And he shorted Tesla, and he lost.
Big time.
The old the gambit with we've got leverage buyout, we've funding secured. Einhorn. Let's do it. This is it. This is the last story. You gonna drain it?
I'm not going to drain it probably, but I'll try.
A tiny little bit.
You know who else are losers? People who are into Bigfoot erotica.
And I'm out.
You drank a whole bottle in 3 or 4 hours. How many? 3 hours? 4 hours?
We started
3 hours.
We started at 2:30. What time is it?
Almost 5.
5:44. Woo.
Blaze it. 5:40 blaze it.
This is the final
And yours,
article.
not only is his wine bottle bigger, it's also a higher proof.
Yours was what's the number?
Or mine is
370. 375.
12%.
375 versus 750. What was your percentage?
12%.
14.5.
Someone do the math there about the alcohol poisoning. we're
Engagement
experiencing.
challenge. Engagement challenge. At 750 milliliters at 14.5% volume, how much more alcohol did I imbibe versus 375 milliliters at 12%? You didn't even finish it.
Well, I'm getting there.
Let's go. Chug. You do it after this last story. Okay. So the last story, Bigfoot erotica.
You know, a few weeks ago I told Ryan, I was like, I feel like our nonsense stories are really they're not really tech related. And he was like, oh, I stopped doing tech related nonsense.
This is a little bit tech related.
Mm.
Let me tell you why. So
Debatable.
There is a Virginia Congress race going on, right? And the Democrat has come out and said that the Republican might be into Bigfoot erotica. What is Bigfoot erotica? That is your next question.
That was we reviewed these stories previously, so I don't know. I don't not know anymore.
This would be where the penis of the Bigfoot would be shown.
Genitalia.
Has been censored. Well, this is a male. I think it's obviously male. Look at this fucking six-pack. He's shredded. Does this do anything for you?
No, I can honestly say no.
No, nothing.
No.
What about as like a young Krista watching Beauty and the Beast?
No. So I think that the reason this is so prevalent is because of stories like Twilight, like the whole monster genre.
Was he a werewolf during sex?
I don't know.
Well, it turns out. So this politician, claims that he did this as a joke, right?
It's totally a joke, guys.
He actually
How funny.
self-published a book about Bigfoot, sex with Bigfoot, but he says it's a joke. Now, this opens up a window to monster erotica.
Which is a dark timeline that we don't need to get into.
Monster erotica. Now, have you ever... I feel like monster erotica is a little bit sexist, right? Because it's always male monster banging human female.
I didn't really do that much research into the story, so why don't you tell us more about the weird...
That's...
Actually,
I feel like...
don't.
Well, like, look at Beauty and the Beast, right? You had to assume that sex was happening in that relationship.
Later on, when they were married, yeah.
When they were married. So it was wrong for the girl to bang the half man, half beast animal outside of wedlock. But once the bonds of marriage were in place, totally cool.
I'm sorry. That was probably really loud in the mic. Well, after they were married, he was a man again. Was the point I was making? If you've watched the movie, but when you put it that way, it becomes more absurd.
You think she teased him that whole time? Well, it turns out on Amazon there is a type of fiction called monster erotica, and I'm gonna just read you some of the titles.
Again, what can you tell us the tech tie in here?
Amazon.
That's it.
Amazon.com.
Okay.
It's a website. Shiver for Yeti.
Can you click on it? Does it take you to the
Let's go
place?
to it.
Oh, you can.
Oh, it's Kindle.
Oh, and it's...
You know what? I feel like...
That's worth...
I think it's worth... Let's just put the keyboard on the table here. I feel like it's...
We're so far off the rails this episode, so if you're looking for really serious news, it'll be back next week. But if you're enjoying learning about monster erotica...
One guy commented last week and was like, I can't believe that you're stupid. Oh, look, it autocompletes. You're stupid news. You call yourselves tech news. You're garbage.
It's tech commentary.
And Wendell replied to him.
Oh, don't reply.
Shouldn't do that. Shiver for Yeti.
There's nothing wrong with... If you guys leave a critical comment, there's nothing wrong with that, but like...
Now is the time. She's about to have her prayers answered, sneaking off under a sky full of stars. But they just can't be left alone. Becky has it all. Oh, God, this is so long. Oh, Becky has it all.
We need to read this on stream. We don't need to read this for the news.
Student on a mission. Gorgeous, smart.
The cursor moving, you can indicate that you're belly laughing.
She's caught the eye of a certain PhD who fills her thoughts night and day on a scientific expedition in the Himalayas.
Of course.
Blah, blah, blah. Becky is confused and frightened until the day she curled up in a cave. Curiosity turns to an unending lust between a young woman and a legend with enormous stamina. Enormous.
You lost it. You're so far gone off the tracks.
Can he make her forget the one she's schemed to? Let's look at the reviews. We gotta look at the reviews.
There's none. Oh, chat. Or YouTubers. I think that's what we're going to call our YouTubers. Leave us your comments or your reviews on that Amazon story.
The point is, later on in the article, they talk about one woman was making $30,000 a month writing monster erotica. So there's an audience for this.
Who? Obviously not if there's no Amazon reviews.
Well, listen, are you going to write a review if you're into monster erotica?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Your bottle has a little tiny divot.
It does, yeah. So it makes you think you have more than you
That's
do.
a gusset. You ever watch Steve 1998?
Why did they do that?
He calls it a gusset. Well, with a bag, it makes it sit upright. But with a bottle, it's just stealing
Valuable wine space.
Yeah. Finish that off. Polished. I got like 2 drops left.
I did not think I would finish this bottle, and I have, and I'm gonna have to drink like a whole bottle of water after this.
You asked for it, and here it was, an entire news broadcast. We finished a bottle of wine each.
Mine is tiny, but
commensurate with our body weight. And you're welcome.
Some of you are probably like, I don't know what I've done with my life. I don't know why I watched this. This is pathetic. You're right. But if you're enjoying this, send us a like, a favorite, a subscribe.
Or
hit the bell icon, dude.
Visit the Patreon. I will remind you. If you just, well, actually, this is on Friday, right? So it doesn't matter.
It is Friday, yes.
I don't want to mention that. But we'll think about giving you drunk news. I think twice a year is ambitious, right?
It's usually, so like, there's just times where one of us is out, and then it's like,
yeah.
We should just do a drunk one just because it'd be funny.
So if you like it, let us know, and maybe you'll get another one.
Maybe not this year.
There's no guarantees, but there was a lot of response the last time. I did it by myself the last time, and people seem to like me
drunk.
Talking.
What if people hate me drunk? What then?
Wouldn't that be?
That'd be hilarious. I don't even think I'd be mad. I'd probably laugh.
Actually, if you looked at the comments, people are very pro-Krista lately.
I don't know why.
Well, I think you bring something, like...
Je ne sais quoi.
You're probably the least aspy.
Which, that's saying a lot because...
You're like, the normie girl. Mm. You're not totally normie. I think you're actually that, perfect mix. We talk about the Twitch girls.
The thoughts. I love the word thought now.
But
I can't
you're
say
like,
that, though.
You're normie enough, but you're also kind of, you're into Lord of the Rings and technology. And so the Aspies be like, oh, she's perfect. She likes the same things I like.
Oh, no.
We probably should stop talking.
Yeah, I feel like it's just getting worse. We're going to go on twitch.tv/TeamPGP and we're going to stream the post-drunk sober up, and you can watch that, the VOD of it.
We're responsible adults. We're not going to go get in our cars after polishing off an entire bottle of wine. We're going to Twitch stream until we sober up, and then we're going to go home.
And cry because we have headaches.
Regret what we've done so far. For you, for your entertainment. FYE. For your entertainment.
Oh, okay. Of course.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Wendell will be back next week, so you can look forward to.
Get forward on it. Chat.
Wendell coming back and sober news.
Yep. And be sure and hit up on the comments with your experiences with Monster Erotica. I want to hear about it.
I don't, but
here's what I'm thinking. Is there, because when I see something like this, I'm like, I could write Monster Erotica. Or I'm a pretty good writer. I feel like I can pull that off. Is there, I feel like Monster Erotica is like male monster, female human. Right? Oh, you've lost your libido.
It's okay. Keep going.
What if I broke into the whole genre as female human? No.
Female monster.
Female monster. What would be the most...
That'd be like Hagrid with the full giant woman in Harry Potter.
What would be the most attractive kind of monster for Amanda Bang? Not reptilian.
A mermaid or a siren.
That's true. You're exactly right. But except there are no sexual organs.
That was the whole thing on Futurama.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is getting really weird. We're going to go stream, watch the VOD later, tell us how horrible this was. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks. Once again, I feel like you're frustrated that I won't let you in.
No, you just keep going.
But I want to bring up the patrons. donated a lot of money after the last drunk train.
You mentioned 3 times.
Well, I think it merits repeating. This is for them, you know. We're giving them what they wanted. This is for the patrons. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, why the fuck are these 2 idiots drunk talking about technology? What idiot would like?
I'm not drunk. I am.
You're like 110 pounds and you polished off the whole
little baby bottle.
But it's because of the patrons, and they're good people. Is what I'm trying to point out. They're wonderful, generous. They fund all of this ridiculousness, and we do it for them. All
right, stop crying and end the broadcast.
I'm not crying. I'm not a crying drunk.
Okay, let's go.